I wonder if Zeno is open. Is it in?
Yeah, we out here.
Hey, Zeno, are you Dino Spumoni or are you just
No,
Zeno Spumoni?
wait, what? I don't think so.
Because Zeno official asked for the feedback link, and then we
And
got
then
another submission from
Dino
Dino
submitted.
Spumoni.
That'd be crazy. Are you yeah, alter egos?
I thought,
Pseudonym?
yeah, I thought the Dino we knew was like that was his Twitch name.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, what's up, at odds? Good to see you, homie. Tried out our website. No, Dino Spumoni's there. Wait.
Me and Zeno discussed this. Nice. What's up?
For real? You guys know it? Like, how do you guys know each other?
It's funny.
That's funny.
Nice.
Dino collabo. I'm saying.
Nice.
It's got to be like a noun, a musical noun that has Eno in it. I'll think about
Brian Eno.
Ryan Eno? What's that?
Brian Eno? You don't know that? Who that is?
No.
All right. Well, I'll let you figure that one out later.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Welcome everybody to FastTrack Feedback Fridays, the show where we give you our cold takes on even colder tracks. And yeah, we know a bunch of you. Welcome, Dino, at odds.
Friends of the stream, man.
Zeno, I think, is in here.
Everybody,
welcome back. If you haven't been on the stream, anybody else who's watching, we give you very detailed, comprehensive, constructive feedback on your music. So if you're working on stuff, definitely encourage things that you're working on that aren't quite finished yet, you want to get our feedback on, send them in. We got a link there. We are building our own platform right now that handles the feedback submissions, and then if you sign up, there's a little toggle to sign up for an account. You can reuse your info when you submit later and get notifications when we review you, go back and view your feedback later, all that good stuff. And are currently working on building a collaboration and productivity platform, let's call it, for music. So allowing you to build your own team, or if you're just working solo, keeping track of all of your versions of tracks that you upload, and the whole process of making music, kind of track of tasks, that kind of stuff.
Yep. So, and all those feedback comments between you and your collaborators on each version. So we know it gets complicated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the website. I started setting up my profile.
Nice.
Fire!
That's a
listen to
good,
Dino. Be
good
like Dino.
Call out there. Yeah, for everybody on here, when you are pushed to live, when you're on the actual stream overlay, which you'll see when your track is up, your profile picture will show up there, and your album art will too. So I see some of you are starting to fill out album art, which is awesome. In the future,
actually, yeah, this is fire.
Yeah, no, this is great. In the future, when we have the projects functionality where you can manage all of your projects and tracks, once you upload your album art there once, then as long as you add your tracks to that project, it'll continue to show up. So right now, you're just uploading in the form here, but also your profile picture will show up in the overlay too. So be like Dino, go to your dashboard, the little thing on the top right, and you can go to your settings, and then you can fill out your profile info and actually see your profile page that you already have. So yeah, hope to see some cool profiles, and that will become very useful later for networking and all that stuff.
For sure. Yeah, Dino Spumoni. Yeah, nice little logo there. He's got lasers in the cover. Wow.
Nice.
Crazy.
Sweet.
New York, huh? Interesting. All right. Anyways, At Odds is back. What's up, At Odds? At Odds, also be like At Odds. He said that he tried out the website. It's pretty cool. So we're getting all these sweet testimonials.
Nice.
Anyways, we got a queue of people. Looks like it is getting as popular as ever. We got 2 people. Shout out to Jokerhead, who tipped last week in typical Jokerhead fashion.
The last minute.
Yeah, for real. Tremolos, constantly pushing our boundaries, aka At Odds. I feel like At Odds has submitted under several different artist names, but I think it's because he's a producer. I keep forgetting, perhaps. I'm sorry. So we got Jokerhead, we got At Odds. Shout out to you guys. Then we got Maine, Max70, Jock, Anka, Black, Dino Spumoni, the return comeback kid, who is not, what do he call himself? The terrible producer? He's not a terrible producer. So that's 7 people. We typically get through 5 or 6. So if you guys hear your name after the 5th spot, then if you want to get guaranteed to listen today, be like Jokerhead, be like At Odds, use that website there to tip $5 minimum. It'll get you to the front, or I guess the front of the free queue, back of the paid queue, because we still do an order of when people actually submit.
So. Yeah. So
I guess when they tip too. So
if you tip towards the beginning of the stream, you'll be right after Tremolos here, and or also known as At Odds. And by the way, if you've already got your track submitted, that tip link is the same link. It's just in the submission form area, you'll see a little box to enter the tip amount, minimum 5, and then it goes to Stripe, and you can do that there. So, yep, that's how it works.
But yeah, without further ado, we can go to the Jokerhead's first track. So we ended the stream last week at odds with Jokerhead, funnily enough, pun intended. And we'll see if he comes back in high spirits or in combative spirits. But it doesn't seem like he's in the chat right now because he'd be nuking it. But yeah, I guess we'll just do it. So
Yeah,
it's
let's do
Ascension. The role is Arranger. Interesting.
I think
So
he was
Jokerhead,
rushing through the form a little this time. Last time he filled out like all of the roles.
every roles, yeah.
Yeah.
For real. Some ridiculous ones too that I guess we put in there, but yeah. Track genre, electronic, ambient Jokerhead song. Interesting. And track artist is Jokerhead. Track description is hello, so not very descriptive, but okay.
Cool.
You ready to do it? I just clicked the waveform.
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Heartburn.
A little bit like a stuck hiccup. And feel free to give Jokerhead some feedback. I'm liking the timbre of these instruments, actually. Some dissonant chords there.
A little bit. It's interesting, though.
Classic. Does the mix sound hollow to you?
A little bit, yeah. Kind of different. It's strange.
It's like wide.
Yeah. A lot of low bass, almost like sub bass. Contributes to that hollow feeling.
Yeah. Seems less abrasive than typical Jokerhead mixes, though.
The arrangement seems good so far. I like that transition and change. Kind of a cool chord there, a little bit dissonant, but like cool. Rhythmically, it's off. Not quite in the right key.
No, it's not. I'm picturing like a girl at karaoke who's just like completely off. It's a completely different tempo too.
It's just like, oh man. Just like one flat away on the circle of fifths.
Really?
Yeah.
The tempos are different. The sample and the. Oh man, I just realized it's 6 minutes 45 seconds.
I know, I saw that earlier.
And look at that big tail, Josh.
We're more than halfway.
Yeah, the vocal is really.
Yeah, the vocal is ruining it.
I want to punch that girl in the face right now. Respectfully. Let me tweet it for this. There's some interesting mixed choices. Oh, I like that. It's very rich sounding. By the way, the bug report, when you push the current box, the roll tab is reset.
Yeah, I'll adjust that after.
Thank you for that. Okay.
This part's not as bad.
Yeah. Well, let's just say
Aside
that.
from this bit right there, I spoke too soon.
Oh God, he's off again.
So close. It's a long fucking tail right there.
Ooh, that's a cool breakdown there.
Uh-oh. Joker hit on the keyboard solo.
Oh, let's go, baby.
It's like full tone scale. Oh jeez. It's
happened?
literally a 1 minute long fade.
Oh,
More than a minute.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's some songs that go like that, but it's rare.
It's all right. You know,
Yeah,
what's
it's like
interesting?
so close.
This song says Ascension Inc. feedback, which I think is incorporated feedback because when I look into the previous streams, there's a song called Ascension.
Oh.
With our functionality right now, are we able to listen to just how the mix has changed? Is that possible?
No, I guess not really live, just because of the way that it sets the data. I don't want to get into it
Okay. The way it resets the data?
because it's set. We'd have to set it to live for it to be audible on the stream. So
I
then
see, I
it
see.
would like set it to say that it went live.
Oh, okay. Would that be bad?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It
cool.
messes things up potentially, so we just don't want to fuck around
Okay.
with it. Also, at odds, thank you for that little bug report. I think you're talking about on the settings for profile when you're filling out your track record, which is awesome that you're doing that. There's something strange with a field. We can look into that. That stuff hasn't been super user tested yet, so appreciate you letting us know.
So yeah, Max, you could go ahead and just submit an. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but we could just have him submit a new one, and we could just replace the other one.
Yeah, I think the way we have to do it so he can submit with his account is we will just delete yours from the queue if you want to submit a new one, and then you'll be able to do that. Because I think
Yep.
right now it will show his submission in the form.
Okay, so we should delete it right now.
Yeah, so Max, if you want to put a new one in, I'm just going to do that if that's cool, and then you can submit a new one. We'll move it back up to the same spot in the queue.
Yeah, you'll keep your spot. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
we'll do that.
All right, sweet. Okay, so Ascension. Yeah, so something that we talked about it earlier when developing this platform, we're working on is version control to where you'll be able to, go to your project, go to your track, say this is my track Ascension, and this is version 2 because Joker had submitted version 1 a couple streams ago, and just because of our own technical difficulties right now with the stream stuff, we can't really listen to it live. But eventually, like you guys will be able to go into the platform. Go into your track and see all the different versions, all the different feedback associated with each version. It'll be really awesome. So yeah, just look forward to that. But yeah, with all that being said, we'll go through our Vibes content production. So Josh, what do you have to say? Vibes first impressions.
Yeah, so I think I'm thinking to myself, maybe one of the reasons that we thought, "Oh, like, this is kinda decent," is
Yeah.
because it got feedback before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Still
there are
needs some work though.
a lot of aspects about it that I sort of like, but it's man, the dissonance with that vocal melody is just kinda haunting me.
Yeah.
Like, at first, I was thinking, "Oh, this is actually a little bit earwormy," like, it's got a
Yeah.
nice, progression, like, I really liked after that first, louder chunk towards the beginning, then
Mhm.
it, like, came back down, there's a little bit of, like, a transition, then it came back, and that was, like, great.
Yeah.
And
The
it's
beat by itself, the arrangement of the beat, I feel like is pretty
yeah,
good.
it's pretty
And then
cool.
the vocal just shits all over it, to be
Well,
quite
there's,
honest.
like before that, there's, like, a little bit of messiness still in certain places with just, like,
Dissonance,
1 or 2, like, just notes that are a
stray notes,
little
yeah.
too far out
Yeah.
that you just need to, like, find those and get rid of them. There's a
Mhm.
lot of, I think, interesting dissonance in this
Mhm.
that is okay,
Yep.
um, but is a good example of that, but, yeah, it's just, like, the attention to detail, cutting some of that stuff out, and there's still a couple of kind of sharp Joker head edges on
Mhm.
things where there's
Mhm.
just, like, shrill elements or instruments that are really high up, and there's a little bit of that still. It doesn't sound as like polished and smooth as you would like a normal mix to be. It's like kind of there's stuff up there.
Mhm.
So that's a thing to address, but it's probably better than it was before, is my guess.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, then just that vocal coming in, I can't remember if that was in the track before or not.
I don't
Um,
remember either, yeah.
but yeah, it's I mean, we
I
could
guess we could
individually
preview it. Yeah.
preview
Yeah,
it
offline, that's true. Yeah.
offline, yeah,
Yeah, I could
but,
check it out.
yeah, I'm kinda curious about that, but I think the vocal is is just, like it's in a key that's, like, probably 1 or 2 flats off on the circle of fifths, so just meaning, like, it's the same scale as the correct key, minus, like, 1 note is incorrect, so it's just, like, you overlay that template, like, diatonic template of, like, whole tone, half step, whole tone, half step, whole tone, or whatever, whatever it is, and it gets offset by like 2 notes. Now you've got like 1 or 2 notes that are out in the key that are not synonymous between those 2 keys. So that vocal came from a different key and it happens to work most of the time, but then when it hits those 1 or 2 wrong notes, it's like, "Oh, that's not in the right key."
Yep, it's like immediately like, "Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not it."
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing that is just like not excusable, it makes the listening experience so much more difficult.
Yeah, and I'm listening to the version 1 and there's no vocal.
Oh, there wasn't? Oh my god.
Also, I
Give me
really I think I like how it's mixed more in the first version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sounds more fuller, it sounds like an actual, like, actually mixed track, like, electronically mixed. Um, I think the feedback that we gave him last time is that there is a lot of high frequency content and it kinda builds up and is a little grating. Um, Maybe here it's not as grating, but, this mix sounds really hollow in comparison, and it sounds like you put the wider, like, plugin, like a stereo delay plugin on the master track, and it just hollows out the center of the track for me. I feel like
It
that's what I was hearing.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I see what you're saying. So for reference here for folks, it's the original track was very it was more compressed, I would say,
Yes.
and the bass and like the feeling like it felt more centered. It didn't feel hollow like
Mhm.
this. It felt more filled out kind of. But there was a lot of shit going on in the high frequencies there. And
Yep.
I was just listening to it right now. I was like, "Oh, this one was painful to listen to, I think."
Yeah. The
So,
first one or the second one?
the first one,
Yeah,
like,
okay.
the first one was
Yeah,
in
yeah, I
some
can
ways more exciting texturally and,
yes. It sounded
with
fuller.
it sounded fuller because it wasn't as hollow, but it was just, again, like a compressed sort of bright mess. So,
Yeah.
which would you rather have? I honestly feel like listening if we're listening through the whole thing versus just little snippets, I'd rather have this one because it wasn't, like, painful, but that's just about the mix when it comes to, like, that vocal, like, the obviously there one.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say I would start from like if you had, if you this was like a DAW and you had version control and a DAW, I would start probably from the other one and subtract the buildup in the frequencies. That's it. Because I think overall I like that mix better. It's just there's just a buildup in the highs.
Well,
What seems to be making it grading.
it
So
depends
just
though, because
subtract it.
the reality isn't this isn't the same arrangement as that one either, I don't think.
That's yeah, it's probably different in some ways.
So
Yeah, so I mean, what I heard in terms of arrangement here seemed to be pretty decent for the beat. For
Yeah,
the
yeah,
vocals, no, yeah.
yeah. I would shorten it though. It's like,
Yeah, it's
does
6
it
minutes
need to be
45.
7 minutes long?
Yeah.
No.
That was especially with a minute, like, fade out. That's a little excessive, yeah.
I mean, look, I will say though, in the defense of the 7 minute long song, if he's actually going for gaming markets and trying to get into that whole thing,
Yeah.
sometimes it can't hurt to have a longer track. That's what certain game developers want,
Yeah,
obviously.
it's true.
So yeah,
Depending on what it is, yeah, like, I don't know. It could be like a if it's like a loopable kinda track, like,
yeah.
it
Which
doesn't need
I,
to be
I
that
feel like
long, but if it's
this feels kind of loopable to me, honestly.
right, but if that's the case, then you just, like, make the format of the song loopable, and you don't have to make it 7 minutes.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know what format game developers want their tracks in.
Right.
It may be the other way, but
Right, right,
who
right.
knows?
Anywho,
Um,
that's why the description field is important, people.
yes, true.
That way we can give it the accurate feedback that it deserves. Yeah, for me, the first impressions was like, yeah, immediately this sounds like hollow. It's interesting. It didn't hurt to listen to like the first one did, so that's a step in somewhat the right direction. But it sounds much more hollow. When I listened to the first one, if I had to say what sounded more professionally mixed, it sounded like the first one is. But like Josh said, it could just be because it was compressed and limited, like a lot of tracks are. So this one, it doesn't seem like it was put through a limiter, actually. Especially, you could see like the huge changes in volume there.
Crazy. Maybe he actually listened to our feedback for once.
Maybe, but I mean, like, overcorrection, I think is what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Then the vocal came in here. I do not agree with that. I don't agree with that
Bad
artistic
choice.
decision at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when the vocal itself seems to be a different tempo and, like Josh said, a different key.
yeah.
Um, which a lot of it, there's like some pockets where okay, in key, this seems like it was uh close, like the notes are shared, like you could use those sections, but you have to identify. And I think we talked about this before. Unfortunately, you just have to understand what sounds good and what doesn't. Otherwise, I listening to a lot of Jokerhead's songs, I don't think he has that in him, which is fine. But that means that you should probably look at it from a music theory perspective, right? If they don't have that to say like this is not in the right key, doesn't sound good,
Yeah.
then they might have to be like, oh, okay, this is an A, and the key that I'm in is like uh, I don't know. Fucking, I can't think off the top of the head what doesn't have an A in it, but yeah, it's like he's gonna have to learn it. I think more mechanically instead of
Yeah.
intuition
That makes
based.
sense. I mean, yeah, it's tricky because I usually say, like, if you are trying to make music just based off of music theory alone, like you're not even making music then. You're
I
kind of
get it.
doing math, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, find me a piece of music that a
Mathrotic.
lot of people like,
Hmm.
that was done by someone with no sense of melody or who just, like, strictly relied on music theory. That's gonna be hard because, like,
What's up,
the whole
Davey?
point you should view it as, like, if you have a good ear and, like, a good taste. I mean, it's all about ear and taste, like, ultimately all boils down to that. There's like, skill is involved, skill helps you get there, it helps you
Yes.
realize your vision, but if you have no
Well,
vision and only tools, then, like, good luck creating,
well,
like, consistently stuff that people actually like.
but the thing is, with him, he doesn't seem to have that ear naturally. So
No,
what he
that's
could
what
do
I'm
is do music theory for ear trainings.
yes, that's what I'm prefacing it with, and it's
I see.
very possible that, someone like Jokerhead has vision, like, he has a very consistent sound, right? I think he knows, like, what his
Yeah.
artist image, what he wants to be like in his sound better than a lot of artists do, right?
Right.
It's much more unique,
Yeah.
but so he probably has the vision, but it is a matter of then having the right tools, like music
Yeah.
theory, to be able to execute that and do it in a way that's palatable, so
Yeah, and it's not like it's like the chromatic scale going crazy and like it's just a jumbled mess. Like it's like halfway there. Like, the sample, like you said, shared a lot of notes with the key. It's
yeah,
just some of
it's
them are
close.
are wrong. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
maybe
being able to catch your own mistakes like that, right?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think, like, I
Yeah,
like
maybe we're
the
not giving him credit. Yeah.
no, definitely. I mean, I like the progression otherwise and everything, but should we give it a vibe score?
Yeah. All that being said, what else? Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add at this point for vibes, so let me think about a score real quick. Um Let me know when you have yours.
Yeah, I do.
Hmm. Okay. Just a second. I think I need to reload my page real quick. I think it went to the old scores of the first version for me for some reason.
Hmm.
Just a second. Just a second. Load, load, load. Okay. Yeah, I have my score now.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it
There
just
it is.
35.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it just definitely does not sound finished right now. And actually, with the vocals, let me change my score.
Oh
That's
my god.
actually like the vocals are terrible. Like not terribly delivered, although the writing seems to be very like I don't know if Jokerhead is like working with anybody or if this is like a splice sample, but it's like if you listen to what they're saying, it's like you love me, but you didn't leave me. Like it's very elementary. Like
Yeah, I can see
you know what
that.
I mean? It's like
It's like, why is that in there, basically?
it's the wrong tempo. Actually, I'm gonna change my score again. The vocals real
Really? Oh my god.
yeah, the
All right, I'll bring
vocals
mine down too because I feel like mine's too high.
I gotta say okay, let me be a little more
I
generous
honestly, the vocals,
because
like,
the beat itself is pretty good actually,
yeah,
but the vocals ruin it right now. Ruin it.
yeah,
They're in the wrong key. They're in the wrong tempo. It's like, what am I listening to? You know,
yeah,
there's no way if I'm on the Jokerhead team, which you know what, I'm on the Jokerhead team right now. For the
yeah,
purposes of this review, I'm not okaying this. There's no
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Like, you gotta fix that.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's reflected in my score. Content. What do you have?
Man, I mean, content. I think honestly, I think the most credit that I'm giving on vibes as I think about the other scores is just because the main progression and the arrangement I think is pretty decent and it might serve a purpose. But if I'm looking at the other scores, like the content has the problem of being very long and not clear about what the application is of it, which like doesn't necessarily cut it if you're actually trying to go for streaming and it's like a super long song and you're not getting people to play all the way through, then good luck having the algorithm actually show that to more people. You get your first 10 listeners and then no more. So that's a bit tough. And obviously, that vocal being a pretty major element of the content is also tough. So I think we've talked about it otherwise, but yeah, and yeah, YND Davy, is that how we pronounce your
Yeah, I think
username?
that's what it is. Yeah, so we don't have the music video functionality yet. So if you could just give us like the, audio.
Audio track, yeah.
Yeah. We definitely want to incorporate that at some point though, because a lot of you guys do music videos, and that's a huge part of the industry. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Right now we're just focusing on building the main like self-serve features, so managing your
Mhm.
projects and collaborators and tasks and versions of tracks, comments, all that stuff. So
Ye-
uh, we got some work to do.
Yeah, and if you find that the form is a little bit long, if you sign up as a user, then like we'll save all the name and stuff like that field. You only have to fill in the track stuff going forward. So be sure to
And
sign up.
YND Davey, you have to upload your actual audio. So you'll see in the form there's an uploader. So
Yeah,
just upload the audio track and we should be good.
yeah. Cool.
Okay, so yeah, I don't have many other comments on content. I think we've talked about it.
Yeah, the main thing for me is the vocal. Yeah, that's a huge content mistake, I think. I don't know why you included it. Well, maybe I think if I'm remembering my feedback of version 1, it's like maybe it was a little empty. There's no like kind of top liner, but yeah, this top liner is ruining the song, so
Yeah.
got to fix it. Otherwise the beat itself, I did like it, and it's like a brighter timbre than what usually does. So I applaud his exploring of a different taste, but
Mhm.
yeah, okay. So I think all that said, I have a score.
Yeah, me too.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit lower for both of us for that.
yeah.
And
Production.
then production, like, yeah, it's a little bit hollow, a little bit strange. I would take this over the over compressed like ear fatigue thing any day.
Hmm.
It could use probably a little bit more like compression or limiting to make it comparable to the other stuff that's on
Out there,
streaming
yeah,
services, but
for
it's not
sure.
like it's like super quiet. It's not like it's an inaudible by any means.
Yeah.
It may be okay. I mean, honestly, like looking at the waveform, there's a couple parts like at the beginning that intro I could tell was going to be a good amount, like too much quieter than the
Mhm.
rest, and that should probably be addressed a little bit.
Yeah.
But the other parts look pretty much within reason for like having something be not super overcompressed. Maybe for the genre, you'd want it to be closer to that, like,
Yeah.
solid waveform, but not like I'd rather have this over the usual culprit of like, oh my god, it's fucking brick wall limited, and it's like so there's so much high frequency and there's distortion and like
Yeah.
that's a mess. This was at least listenable for 7 minutes, which is like is saying a lot.
Yeah, that's a testament. That's true. Yeah. Let me change my score a little bit. Yeah, the real thing here is like, I guess, gain staging with like the rest of your genre. And if this shows up in Spotify in a playlist, you don't want people riding the volume knob. That's my only
Yeah,
concern. And for some reason, the mix sounds hollowed out and like stereo delayed. I don't know what the vision was there, but yeah, if I had to, pick and choose from the first and second mixes, it's like, yeah, don't do the whole stereo delay and the whole mix. At least not to the extent that you did, to where it sounds hollowed out in the middle. So yeah, the high frequency buildup here seems to be more addressed, so that's nice.
there's a
I
little
still
bit,
think
but
I
yeah.
still think there is a little bit of buildup that you can get rid of, but compared to the first version, yeah, it's much better. It doesn't hurt. So bravo on that. All that being said, I think I have my score. Do you have yours?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeet.
Yeah. I
And
honestly I think it's not bad, but it's halfway there between developed and good to go.
sure. Yeah. Total.
Yeah, I've got a score.
You have yours.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
That two to
Exactly
one
half.
ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Funny.
right. There you
Nice.
go.
Well, Jokerhead, love to see that you're incorporating some feedback, and I'd say like in some ways this is better than a lot of the stuff that you've submitted. Like you're
Yeah.
like finding new ways to get the job done, and it's just a matter of incorporating all the right stuff into the right, the same track and using all that. But like learning the tools, learning the techniques, that's great. So yeah, thanks for sending it in.
Yeah. Thank you, Jokerhead. Thank you for tipping too. What's his name here? Davey, did you submit? Because I don't see your song in the queue. Let us know if you're having any trouble. Um, and I
Dino,
was
thanks
gonna
for
say
your tip
something.
too.
Oh shit! Hey, we got it. Thank you, Dino Spumoni. Be like
Nice.
Dino. He set up his profile. FastTrack.studio/profile/Dino Spumoni music. Anyways, um, yeah. Okay, so that means we'll get to at odds next. Lexicon. We got Dino Spumoni. Skip the line, so he'll be next, and then main Max 70. We got Jack Anka and Black, and if what's his name, Davey submits, he'll be after that. But as you guys see on the website, we put like a estimate of what songs we'll actually get to on the stream. It's typically like 5 per stream. So if you see yourself in the future streams column, that mean we'll probably get to you next week, unless you tip like the first 3 people in this queue did this stream. So you could tip, secure your spot. It's always there, $5 minimum, same website.
Yes. If you see yourself in the future, you must pay $5 to get into the time machine.
That I'm perplexed. What do you
Me too.
mean?
I was just
Okay.
thinking of that episode of SpongeBob.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Future. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Love
right.
it. Love
Dope.
SpongeBob
Well,
here.
let's do Tremolost here. You want to read the description?
Yeah. Let me just close my other windows
All
here.
right, I'll read the roles. Songwriter, composer, artist, recording engineer, mixing engineer, master engineer,
Woo!
synth operator, sound designer, independent releaser. Nice. Using those
Synth
roles.
operator? Is this
Love
like
it.
analog synth? Let us
Well,
know.
if you're operating a synth, sure.
But no, if it's analog, that'd be cool. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's
it
digital,
could
it's cool
be.
too.
It's probably
But
digital, but either
yeah.
either way, I mean, a lot of the digital synths are just a lot of the same modeled configurations of real ones. So
Yeah, for sure. I just want to know what add-ons, like what he did. That
yeah,
was he's
for
in the
sure.
chat. So track genre, electronic, track artist, tremolos, just vibe check and feedback. Okay, cool.
Sweet.
What stage is this at? Could you tell us? Is it like mastered and stuff? But I did use analog sec. See,
There we
bruh.
go.
Hell
Nice.
yeah, that's fire. Okay. Which ones? But okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, lexicon. 3, 2, 1. Submitted by Tremolos. Syntax. That's an analog synth.
Hmm. That bass element really pushes the waveform up visually.
yeah.
Bit of a long intro territory here. 35 seconds. And counting.
Yep.
Oh, it's another 6-minute song.
True.
Long ones today.
There's not a 1-minute tail though.
That's true. There's just a 1-minute intro.
Yeah. Yeah, everything else seems pretty quiet to the kick.
Still very warm. I was sort of expecting it to open up a little more by now.
What needs to open up?
I was expecting it to open up like frequency-wise more. It's still a little bit blanketed.
Yeah.
Very heavy on the kick.
I'm like wanting this to be 4 on the floor so bad. But it's going like it's going like halftime. It's like tricking me.
Yeah.
Still dance. Groovy.
There's like a little bit of a chordal thing, but it's so far in the background you can barely hear it.
Yeah, I do wish that came up a little bit for sure. It's a nice texture. It's just a little quiet.
It makes it sound like the mix balance is off.
I do kind of like how the mix does sound a little spacious, so it's nice.
Really? Yeah, I feel like the bass is kind of picking up all of the space.
Frequency rise, yes, but I'm talking about like the panning that's happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty nice. I'm like surrounded.
But I can barely hear anything else. Like everything is so low in the mix volume-wise. What time feedback?
54 on the floor. Please, tremolo.
Or some change, you know?
That's what I'm saying. I'm begging for it.
It needs to get into like a groove.
Right? This is like,
It's like a 3-minute long build at this point, you know what I mean?
yes, yes. It's edging. It's a soundtrack to edge. I'm not trained, man. I'm not trained. It is vibey though. It is vibey. Here we go! This is what I was waiting for. Oh no! It's going back to halftime. Why? Oh, it hit me with a 4 on the floor just a little bit. See, it does 4 on the floor for like 1 second, and that's it.
I am at odds with
Right
this.
there. You're at odds with it?
I'm at a
69?
tremolo for words.
Yeah, this
that
synth here
background
needs to
stuff
be
sounds
it
cool,
needs
but
to
I
be louder.
can't hear it at all. It's like
Exactly.
like 10 dB too quiet.
Yeah, listen to
Maybe
the big
5.
difference between that and the bass. That kick, yeah, it's like, and the kick's like right in front of your face, and that like cool, awesome synth is like in the back.
I can hear there's cool stuff going on, but the whole track is like just kick.
Yeah.
With
I
the
don't think
exception of
it's
that
act-
little rim shot thing or whatever it is.
The percussion, yeah. Percussion's all up front. Taking up all.
In the hat, yeah. Even the hat is a little bit quiet.
I don't think people sacrifice much if you just bring up the rest of it. Not even like in the same frequencies. Like,
I think if the mix was changed drastically, it would change the whole track, even without changing the arrangement.
yeah. I like that little do-do-do-do. Let's go.
I'm just imagining if like 3 different mixing engineers mixed this out.
This is very vibey at odds. You asked for a vibe check, which is very vibey. But I need a 4 on the floor, bro. A nice little change up 4 on the floor. Cool. A little fast. like apocalyptic anti club vibe. The synth sounds louder here.
Barely.
Maybe I got used to it.
And like, what is
Oh, that
going
was cool.
on here?
What, like this outro?
Yeah.
It's an outro. That felt like a typical outro to me. And like,
Just the drum pattern was odd to me. I don't know.
oh, true, true, true. All right, that was Lexicon Tremolos. Very vibey. Josh, you have vibes first impressions?
Well, yeah. So you got some of our real time honest feedback there,
Yeah. And
which
look at Max, bro. He's going hard in the chat, bro.
yeah, I know. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I can't remember hearing stuff from you at odds that was mixed like this. Like, I'm just sort of confused why the kick is the
So loud.
only dominant element. Basically, it's just like the whole mix is the kick, and then there are
Joker Head's here.
Jokerhead's here, Bob Ross.
Bob Ross coming in.
Yeah, Jokerhead, you came in an hour late and you missed your track,
Yep.
but
Classic.
you'll get to see it again once you watch the stream later.
Yep, yep, yep. Use that
Uh,
website, click it, it'll get there. Oh, actually, it won't work now, but yeah.
yeah, but yeah, at odds, that's the first thing that I think is very much needed to be addressed. Kind
That's
of
like one of
like,
the only things for me, actually. I feel like
yeah,
that's a sore thumb in this song. Everything else, it sounds pretty great, but yeah,
similar
it's
against
like a.
reference.
I have to check it against the reference again. It's pretty similar in gain staging.
I mean, do you mean in terms of like volume or just from a listen? Like,
Yeah, or like the balance of the track.
yeah,
Yeah, because maybe like the DB lefts was the same, but I don't know. I mean, at odds, I know that he's pretty like well versed, and like you said,
yeah,
Josh, like his mix in the past like sounded pretty balanced and everything. So, but yeah, to us just listening, that's what we heard. Like the kick just seems to be way louder than everything else.
yeah.
Way
It's like
louder, way more front and center than everything. Yeah.
it's yeah. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I guess maybe what reference you used. I feel like I can maybe imagine there being a track that's a good reference, but and is very like similarly dark like this, but you might just be running into issues with the subtleties of that track where there are high frequency elements that are present enough to give the listener like a psychoacoustic sense of balance spectrally, where you've got enough sort of sprinkles of high end to make it feel like justified that the bass is so present and takes up so much of the space. But I sort of feel like a spectral analysis tool might not show that nuance, where you might have like say the hi-hats or something that are kind of constant, giving a little bit of that high end stuff, and then like the the rim shot thing, and it could even be representing that rim shot as being more present in the high end because of some sort of time delay with how that visual is compiled, and the rim shot doesn't happen like all the time. So I don't know. I mean, to me, like just listening with our ears, it seems like not like a question of style, but like very obviously this needs something to be changed with the mix balance where it's
Mhm,
not all just the kick. Like
mhm.
even aside from like the frequency balance of the entire picture, we like can't hear what's happening with all of these interesting elements with
The
cool
lush
timbres, it
synths,
seems
yeah.
like, that are in the background. They're like so far down that we can't even really make them out.
Mhm,
So it's not to say that it I don't know. I mean, mistakes happen, and sometimes you have a reference mix that might lead you in one direction, but then relative to everything else that people are listening to, it just doesn't quite make sense.
mhm,
Or you just lose perspective of, listening to something for a really long time in the box. That's like honestly the main reason that we have this whole feedback concept, is recognizing that when you're making music and you're listening to something over and over and over, you become like totally blind to it.
yep,
And the stuff that you do, like you'll spend hours making little mix tweaks that actually don't move it forward. And that's why it's so important to get feedback. And, that's the whole point of this. So
mhm,
hopefully this is useful for making further revisions or getting somebody else to also help with it. But yeah, it's I'm just sort of struck by how how obvious it seems that the mix needs to be rebalanced in that way, or sort
Mhm.
of rethought even. No, but I'm also not convinced that the arrangement necessarily needs to be completely rethought. But I
Yeah.
do think that I think it's valid to say that it goes on a lot, right? It is 6 minutes long. I do think that even if it was mixed well, there's not enough happening in the arrangement to keep it interesting for 6 minutes.
Mhm.
Um, there's a couple of interesting timbres, but they don't really evolve that much. Like the parts don't wildly change throughout the 6 minutes. It doesn't really even get into a point where the groove is like so sticky and earwormy and like awesome that it's like puts you into a trance. I think we were like waiting the whole time for like where's the 4 on the floor, or maybe like
Yeah, one of the 4 on the floor is so bad.
box it into to 4x4, but like where is the groove that like keeps you in this trance state? It's a little bit tripping over its shoelaces right now, where
Mhm.
the groove just isn't as tasty as it could be, and that's kind of a hard thing to do. It's not easy to make a great groove, but you got to at least try to get there. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like
I
there's
think it
definitely
hit its stride at some point, but yeah, I
yeah,
agree
yeah.
that the stride got a little old, and it just felt like a build up to the 4 on the floor to me, and it just never happened.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think there's a lot, like I was saying earlier, I think if you had 3 different mixes of this that had like different levels of balance between stuff and like volume, gain, staging, all of that, it could actually be like a very different story without changing the arrangement.
Mhm.
But yeah, I also just sort of feel like the beginning with like the intro is acceptable until it went on for too long and we were
I mean,
like,
it was 1
where's the
minute, yeah.
drop?
It was 1
Yeah,
minute,
it
yeah.
was a really long intro, and then
Or
it
longer,
didn't
yeah.
after the intro, it didn't really, like, change a lot, right? It was,
Yep.
like, still kind of felt like intro the whole time
Mhm.
because we were waiting to get to the presumably, like, tasty part.
Mhm.
Yeah, so,
Sorry, I was just revisiting it for a second.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
That's my, like, top level thoughts.
that's our vibe check, right? That's what they asked for, so
Vibe check, exactly.
yes, yes. Other yeah, there were some points where it did hit its vibe and, or hit its vibe, hit its stride, but yeah, that's what we feel so far. I don't know if I have anything else to say for vibes. I don't know, like in terms of like extended mix, like dance songs, like I can be a little bit forgiving if things are like repetitive and don't change too much, but yeah, even considering that, yeah, it just didn't seem like there was like an arc of things changing for this 6 minutes. But yeah, I don't think I could tell you like what's the difference between this section here at 119 versus this section at 417. Like listen to that. That's like the same, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, um, I don't know, and it's 6 minutes long. So yeah, but anyways, overall, I think it sounds pretty decent with the exception of the weird balance. So, do you have a score?
yeah, I think so.
All right, let me see. Where do I put this? I could tell. I mean, it sounds pretty clean, like the individual things, but where would I put this? Oh, fuck.
Hmm,
Okay. All right, I have my score. You have yours?
yeah,
All right. Three, two, one.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, though. I mean, I feel like there's potential, but in the current form,
Yeah.
I don't find it that viable.
I see.
I think it's like there are changes that you could make that might not be that drastic,
Yes.
that would make a huge difference in like
Yeah.
the actual listenable output. But right now, if I'm just thinking, if I came across this on SoundCloud and I start listening and I'm like, damn, that's a long intro. How
Yeah.
likely am I to wait a minute through that? And then
Yeah.
when it doesn't get to like a drop after that,
Yeah.
I'm fucking definitely leaving.
Yeah.
After 1 minute and 5 seconds, I'm out. I'm gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I might not come back. So like
You might not even get through 1 minute.
that's the difficult part. And even if I'm listening all the way through and I'm like, okay, there's like some maybe interesting stuff here, but it's not satisfying because the balance is what makes the mix satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's stuff that's like you're straining to try to hear because it like you think there's a nugget there, but it, like you can't really hear it,
Mm-hmm.
that's difficult. So I think those steps to correct that might not be that drastic, but it really takes a toll on like the actual vibe of listening to it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I don't think there's like a actually too much. Like you said, I think the changes required here to really up its score. It's very subtle. Like just put some four on the floor, man. Like I think it'd really vibe. But uh, yeah, that goes into kind of content here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. It's just repetitive, and the main loop itself, it just doesn't seem overly groovy or satisfying as a main groove. And I gave you my subjective opinion on what I think could make it, really pop and really get me dancing. Um, but there's things to say that I said that I really liked. Like there's this like sweeping synth in the background, and again, it's in the background and it's way too quiet. We talked about that balance wise, but it's sweeping left to right in an interesting way. It's kind of surrounding the mix, and it sounds very lush. I'd love to hear that more, but it's just buried by this boom boom kick that's in my ear, and it's not even doing the thing that I want it to do. It's just pissing me off the whole time.
Yeah.
So, but not really. But it's pissing me off because it's not what it could be. What it was born to do. But yeah, that's kind of my content comments. What do you have, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we talked about, it's very long. It takes a long time to get through the intro, and then it doesn't like develop much. I think throughout the entire arrangement, so that's pretty major.
Yeah.
There are parts that I think are like viable, but it's like you've got a kick pattern that I is unique, but I think needs to be modified to make it really like listenable for a long period, and like uh, I keep coming back to the word tasty, but like groovy. Like I don't know what the right word is. Like when you've got a groove that just feels right and it makes you
Oh
want to keep
yes.
listening to it. Like whatever that word is. We don't quite have that here, I don't think. And if you're going to make a song this long, it needs to be there. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part. And then just like diversifying a little bit, at least some of the parts in the arrangement. I think it would help if we could hear them, but I
Hmm.
also think they might not be enough to get us through a whole 6-minute track.
Yep.
You might need a little bit more variation in the vibe of like the energy levels and when things cut out and come back in, and like changes in scenery, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like if we're taking this ride with you and we only have one view the whole time, how likely are we to want to actually listen all the way through?
Yeah.
That's the whole
And
game.
yeah, I would say that like we take kind of feedback just by default that this is like a song that is like a standalone song product that that's going to be on Spotify and this is on your album or whatever. Um, I say that because I was like, oh, maybe this could be put in the background. Like if this is like a video game thing, like this would be like a cool texture for like a jungle place or something. Even then, the balance is kind of off, but like
Maybe, but it's
that's where it's
also
like,
like,
oh, it's not as important to be like, this is the main thing I'm paying attention to. This is me dancing in the club to this song. It's like, nah, this if that's gonna happen, it needs a little bit more. It needs something to like want us to get us to want to dance, to get us to want to stay on this track, to listen to it all the way through. Um, but if we have some people that are aiming for different markets, so if that's what's happening at odds, let us know. But just judging on what you've submitted us before, I don't think you're in that market, but maybe you
yeah.
are. So just say that with a caveat there.
Hmm.
But okay, do you have any other thing for content?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of potential, actually.
I think
But
there's potential. Oh, I was gonna say, you mentioned about the whole like maybe this could be a game background sound type
yeah.
thing. If that's your intention, then like sure, that's cool. But I also feel like it can be dangerous when we get into the territory of like anything that isn't gripping, that could just be background music somewhere. It's like, well, if you're not actually going for that, like you're not actively, you don't have a strategy and knowledge or trying to learn, trying to
Hmm.
get it to game developers or for use in film or whatever the hell it is,
Yep.
then like that's not a valid excuse for like, oh, well, maybe it's applicable for that. Well, if no game developer is even going to hear it, or like has no chance of ending up in a game, it's like, did
Hmm.
it, if nobody heard the tree fall in the forest, did it really fall? It's like, it's irrelevant. So if
That's
that's
why
the
the tree
case,
has to fill out the track description more thoroughly.
well, look, if that's actually the case, fine, then that is kind of a justification. But
Yeah.
if it's not, it's like you got to look at it through the lens of, are listeners gonna listen through it?
Yeah.
And it's not just like maybe somebody will have a preference to not like it. It's that if a lot of people have a preference to not like it, the algorithms just won't show it. So like best of luck. But the best way to do it, I mean, the whole sort of ethos, I think, with FastTrack and what we're trying to help you do is like just make the best possible stuff that you can,
Mhm.
because if you have that, everything else will follow.
Sure.
So the revision process, like being patient with the revision process and making it as good as you can before you try to like say, look at me, is the way to do it. And I know like a lot of the folks here share that feeling, which is why you're coming here for feedback. So
Mhm.
hopefully it's useful.
Yeep. Jokerhead, I don't know what you're trying to ask for. You have ultraviolence, €1. That
Oh
doesn't
my
fly,
God.
and I'll pay you to use it. I'm that desperate. We want to use
I'll pay
ultraviolence.
you to not submit ultraviolence again.
I won't. Just don't submit it.
Wasn't it
Actually,
for
I'll
like a
just I'll
year that
just
he was
delete it.
submitting that again?
I'll just delete it. But
Yes.
okay, all that being said, we have a content score. So you
Yes,
got
we
your
do.
score?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Bluey. Yeet.
Bluey. Yeah.
Production?
Yeah, and then production, I think the message is where we can hear there's some cool timbral stuff there, but where is it?
Yep.
So bring it up in the mix. Give us some more interesting texture overall with the big picture rather than just this bass, this kick thing, which like sure, I think it's pretty like full sounding, mostly because it's loud and it has low end, but I also think that there's probably some room to improve on the timbre and feel of that kick. Like
Yeah.
it's
If you're gonna
fine,
have
but
it
if you're
front and
gonna
center and not change the whole time, like the fact that it's kind of a stock
yeah, it's a
sound
little
is
bit stock sounding. Like I
Mhm.
mean, again, look at reference mixes, not with the graphs, but like listen to the reference mixes and make sure that you're on the right system. I was going to ask earlier, what speakers are you mixing on, or headphones, or what's your setup like? Are you in a small room, big room, carpet, hardwood, treated? That's a big part of this too, because if we might be hearing something totally different than what you're hearing,
Mhm.
and like a lot of the time that can be Beyerdynamic. Is it the Beyerdynamic, what, like open back headphones?
Bear Dynamic, which one? No, I don't I forget. But okay, Bear Dynamic. Okay, so
DT
he's in
something
headphones.
70 or something like that?
Okay.
Headphones.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is lesson 1. The Beyers, I think I've heard of like people using those for mixing, so they're a valid choice. Um I I know they're not quite as neutral as like the AT whatever they are,
Kaboom.
ATH M50s. That's fine. Most mixing engineers would suggest that you don't primarily mix on headphones. And I know everyone's like, but I don't have speakers and I don't, yeah, DT900XC. Okay. I don't have speakers or my room isn't good. And like the room thing is tricky. Um, and there's ways you can get around it with some DIY stuff and whatever that's not like all that expensive.
Mhm.
But it, I'm just warning you, it is an uphill battle to create good transferable mixes entirely on headphones.
Yep.
Um, at the
Well, the
very
thing is
least,
yeah,
you need to be referencing on multiple speakers. Like if you have a room
exactly.
problem and
I was gonna say.
speakers, those speakers may not be perfect just because of they're not like their budget or whatever, or your room isn't great. But it is like literally like 1,000 times better to have mediocre like speaker room setup and headphones that are like kind of enough, and using both of them than just using one.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you'll see like, holy fuck, I can't hear that problem at all on my headphones, but I can
Yeah.
hear it loud and clear on the speakers, and vice versa. You
Yeah, and,
absolutely
like
need that.
yeah, and just, like, where other people would usually listen to it, like the car or your phone and stuff like that too. Those are really highlight things that are, like, build up or,
Yes.
um, what is it? Inequities in the frequency
Yeah.
balance and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Big,
um,
big mix pro tip. And I know everyone's going to roll their eyes and say, I don't want to buy more stuff, but it's
yeah.
like, if you're
Yeah,
mixing, if you're in the business of mixing, like
yeah,
you got to have the right tools at the very least. They don't
yeah.
have to be
Well, that
expensive, but
yeah, and, like, I just listed stuff that you probably already have. Like, you probably already have a car, I hope, or
maybe, maybe
maybe
not. I
not.
mean,
Yeah,
well,
okay,
you've
maybe
got a
not. Fuck
phone.
me. You probably have a cheaper, like,
Someone you
headphone
know
set,
has a
you know?
car. That's for
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Well, like, you probably have, like, like, little not ear pods essentially,
Just
but,
other
maybe you do.
headphones.
Yeah, other headphones that aren't mixing headphones. Yeah, use those.
It's just
I
about
think
having
Adod
reference
said
points.
something, "I've just moved into a new flat, was planning on getting monitors again, wasn't an option before where I was living." Okay.
Got it.
But
Nice.
yeah,
Well, that's
and
good to hear.
yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't think this is released yet, right? So, like, he's doing exactly what he should be doing. Like,
Yeah.
get other people to listen to it, see what they think.
Yeah, it's
Hopefully,
it's
they know what they're saying, which I think we have some credential, but yeah.
no, we're
Yeah,
just
send it to more
typing all of
people.
this into ChatGPT. It's just telling us what to say.
Yeah, yeah, we're actually just
Yes.
robot ro
we're holograms. We're not real.
robots. But anyways, okay. All that being said, do you have a score for production?
Um, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I feel like okay. Yeah, we talked about. Okay, cool. Three, two, one. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a little bit of a wiggle room. I mean, I
I
could
think it's
maybe.
pretty solid sounding. It's just the balance is like it's a glaring, problem.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I mean, there's like levels of production, right? The first level is like make something that doesn't hurt to listen to. That's like
correct, and
thing
it's
one.
not that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
make something that's like audible and isn't like super quiet relative to other tracks. Like this isn't super quiet relative to other tracks, fine. But then the third level is like make a mix that makes people want to listen to your song.
yeah,
And it's that third part that needs the work here. It's just like right
right.
now this song is a kick pattern that I think can be like improved probably with
Hmm.
timbre that can be improved, and then other stuff that is 30 miles away in the background of the picture.
Yeah,
And it's like that doesn't make a mix that makes me want to listen to the track. So that's that top level of the hierarchy that is the work to do there. He said, "Yeah, I can see that. It's just the
instrument
instrument
versus the drums. Yeah.
versus the drums. I need to go through the instrument bus and check it all."
Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah,
honestly, like the instruments themselves, I think it creates a nice, like, spacious feel to it. There's no clashing or like, un- there's inaudible stuff, but the parts aren't getting in the way of each other. Really, it's just the kick and drum are just up front, up centered, louder than everything else. Like it's just an obvious balance issue that I think could be easily fixed.
yeah.
But okay, track total. What do you have?
I'm ready to go.
I think me too. Three, two, one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think my vibes is up there because I think there's a lot of upside to it. It sounds pretty clean, but like,
yeah.
yeah, there's just glaring issues. That's all at
Yeah,
this
I
stage.
mean, all of this is in the process of like, becoming better at just music production and releasing and stuff. And the more times you go through the iterative feedback loop, the better you get, the more you know what to look out for. And like as you get stuff set up, like your optimal reference setup, your like with reference mixes, but also with reference speakers, your optimal speaker setup for like your main monitor listening deal, um and just like getting feedback and learning the tricks and tips and tricks of the trade.
Yep,
You'll be flying eventually, but
yep,
this is all part of the process. So yeah, appreciate you sending us your track. Want to hear more from you for sure.
yep. Always.
And yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
thanks
at
for being
odds
active in the chat
slash
too.
tremolos,
Yeah, we
the
love it.
alter ego.
Thanks, Mains. Appreciate you, Mains. And thanks for the tip. Like, yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Skip the
Um,
tip.
Josh,
Skip the skip.
I hate to do this, but I've really got to pee. So, do you want to talk about the platform for a little bit?
Yeah, I can talk about that, and I
All
can
right, be
intro
right back.
Dino's.
That's perfect. Okay, I'll be
All
right back.
right, all right, fuckers. So, uh, oh yeah, he sent the link there. Reyes UK, welcome to the stream. Are we still accepting demos? Yeah, send us your stuff. If you've got tracks that you want to submit to the queue, the link is in the chat there, fasttrack.studio/stream. We've got a little form there. We're building our own platform that includes the feedback submission, and you can watch the stream there as well and view the queue so you can see exactly where you are in line. We get to about 5 tracks per stream because we do pretty detailed constructive reviews. And we've got 5, well, we've got more than 5. So if you want to submit, you can tip to skip the queue and you'll get reviewed during this stream. We've got like 35 minutes left. Otherwise, we get to every track that's submitted in order. So we'd get to you next week if you submit now. So, and yeah, Dino's saying, ready to be ripped by the big dogs at Fast Track. Sure. What Chris was mentioning before, this platform, like right now, is just for submitting your tracks to the stream and viewing the queue, all that stuff. Going forward, the main purpose really is helping you build your team. So finding collaborators to help you, say, if you need a mixing engineer or mastering engineer, somebody to help you with songwriting, somebody to give you feedback. You can kind of build your own record label like team on Fast Track and decide how you collaborate, whether you're paying people one off for services or having them on your team as like royalty split members. So that's kind of an exciting thing there. keeping track of the versions of your track. So as you work on stuff, upload a new version, leave time-stamped comments on it for your collaborators or for yourself, and also creating tasks that you can assign with deadlines and assignees so you can keep track of what you need to do heading into your release. So we're building all of that and more. We are maybe like a month, give or take, away from some of that stuff rolling out, and we will definitely be reaching out to folks to get you into that and see what you think, catch bugs, that kind of thing. So it should be exciting. And yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeet. Join the platform, guys. It'll be
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, if you submit to the queue and you select the little toggle for sign up for the platform, you'll be able to reuse your info later, so it'll be much faster when you submit again, and you'll have an account. So as we start releasing those features, you'll be able to use them. You can also, as soon as you sign up right now, go into your dashboard. So top right of the screen, click on your profile pic, go into dashboard and settings. You can create your profile there, and you can view your profile, which Dino, who is our current live artist
Yeet.
about to get reviewed,
No, shout out Dino.
has done a little bit of profile stuff. So be like Dino. You can click on people's names in the queue on that page there to see their profiles as well.
Yeet.
So yeah.
So it's called Hey Listen. The role is producer, track genre, EDM, track artist Dino Spumoni. I'd like feedback on what you would change to this mix or master. I feel pretty good about it. Okay, sweet. So he's putting it to the test here. This is, the test market. We're the focus group. But you ready?
Yeah, Jokerhead, are you saying you're trying to upload and something got stuck? If that's the case, not sure what that would be. It could be something with the internet. It could be something with the internet. But just try refreshing and see what happens.
And is he doing ultraviolence for real?
Okay.
We'll see. It looks like Reyes knows Dino, but all right, you ready for Dino's Spumoni?
Oh, but Jokerhead, by the way, so right now the policy is you can only have one track reviewed per stream, as you know from last week. So if you're going to submit one, we'll get to it next week, but don't tip us because we will not do it this week. So don't do that. And also, last time when you did, you tipped. That's great. You were first this stream, but you weren't here for when you started. So bad, Jokerhead.
All right.
If you want to tip, you can, but I'm just saying if you don't get here on time,
we appreciate it. We really do appreciate it.
We do. But we can only allocate 20% of the stream to each artist, not 40%. So just how it goes.
Fair. Okay. You ready for Hey Listen?
Let's do it.
All right. Dino, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh. Okay. The water again.
Wait, we've heard this one. Okay, so is this feedback? Or version 2?
I just told you're a nigga love to smoke. Pull my glasses, let go. I'ma have to let it blow. I got weed, I just told you're a nigga love to smoke. Pull my glasses, let go. I'ma have to let it blow. I got weed, love to smoke. 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 I got weed, love to smoke.
That little just might be over compressed. Looking at the waveform, there's like no
Might be okay.
You think so?
Just judging by listening, it doesn't strike me as being overcompressed.
I think the distortion of the kick in that intro is kind of a telltale sign that it's overcompressed.
The drop is a good amount louder though than this part.
I got weed, I just told you're a nigga love to smoke. Pull my glasses, let go. I'ma have to let it blow. I got weed, I just told you're a nigga love to smoke. Pull my glasses, let go. I'ma have to let it blow.
I love that clap.
Weed, I just
Way better. Correct.
I'ma have to let it blow.
Width. There it is. Nice.
I just told,
I want to say the first version had more dynamic
I got
range
weed.
though,
I just told.
and a little more space. You feel
Actually,
like
yeah,
that?
I like the way that outro was just subtly changed to make that reverb tail like a little bit more well placed or something.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I like this. It definitely felt like a little bit of a step up from before.
true. I don't know. I might like the old one. I'm trying to listen to the old one right now, but we'll see.
I, I'm just hearing a lot of stuff that sounds a little bit more polished here. Not to say that everything is completely perfect,
Yeah,
but I don't really remember if the original one was if the drop was as awesome, but I mean it still is awesome.
yeah, it is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just listened to the old one. To me, it just sounds a little bit more dynamic and like the drums like pop through the mix a little bit more. That's
Although
why I
I
just
mean there are definitely some issues that were fixed though. Like going through the old one, there was some
Mhm.
high sibilance and sort of like high end stuff that I believe we pointed out that I'm hearing immediately, and that was
Yeah,
addressed. So that's
yeah,
great. This is similar to the Joker head one for me, where we were listening to both, and like the new one feels more listenable for sure.
for
It might
sure.
just be a case of that we suggested stuff because like it was a little harsh, and then you
Yep.
backed it down, and you might have like a little bit of wiggle room
Yeah,
to maximize things just a little bit again,
yeah, I think so
um,
too.
to get to that sweet spot. But I still would rather have this, I think, over the one that was a little bit difficult to listen to.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
I'd rather have something that has a more room to grow in terms of excitement, like just that little 10% to grow,
yep.
versus something that has
It
like
hurts.
that
Yeah,
hurts to listen to. Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure. There's a threshold here for sure. So yeah, I think you could bring that. Like you might have overcorrected a little bit, but yeah, we do appreciate the enacted feedback, and it resulted in a better product.
I'm
Sure.
noticing on the old one, there was the snare was pretty loud, and we might have mentioned that, but like it is very dynamic. It kind of splats a little bit more,
Hmm.
and I think I'm hearing a bit of a side chain with those drums. Like when they come in, the other stuff really kind of ducks out, and that's a dramatic effect. That's cool.
Yeah,
There might be a little bit less of that happening here.
yeah.
See if we just go back and compare.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a little bit tamed, and I think for the most part that's okay. Um, I still think it's better to yeah, he said, "Yeah, I tried to work on those high frequencies and making that main bass more refined but still kick." I think you've done a good job at that. Like maybe there's in a different area like a little 5% to sort of make it maximum excitement without being overbearing or hurting.
Hmm.
But I like the refinements you've made. It feels more a little bit more refined to me.
For sure. I'm just reading his chats here. Ready to be ripped by the big dogs at FastTrack.
Yeah.
Mixmaster 2. You have the old one? Oh, okay. You're just surprised that we are looking at the old one too. I'm not gonna repeat that. I'll pin it though. We'll
Why
put
is
it for
Joker
20
Head saying
minutes
one
there.
more tune, one more tune?
I don't know. Yeah, I tried to work on those high frequencies, making that main kick bass more refined, but still kick. Okay, I think I remember we talking about that. I think I would just, and Josh talked about it too. Like, for me, it just seems a little bit less dynamic. Like the transients aren't really popping through, and I know it's not worth a lot, but like looking at the waveform, you see how flat it is, right? Like in the drops there, it's just like brick walled. But like thinking about the drop that you have, it's not it's not something that I feel like is a sound wall, right? It's something that has like a bass that's going that's just like a wum wum wum, and then there's like cool kind of almost swingy drums, and I feel like the swinging drums are the highlight of the drop, not necessarily your bass. Like the bass isn't really, it's pretty simple, right? It's just like a whong whong. You're not doing like wow 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 like crazy like bro step shit. Like the really cool stuff that I think is happening is the drums. And I think if you highlighted those a little bit more, like with the side chaining, for example, you could really have that pop out and just have everything a little bit more dynamic and fresher to listen to. But yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on this mix. I do agree that it doesn't hurt as much to listen to, which is good. But yeah, I think I'd want to highlight the drums a little bit more. But overall, like it's a cool track, and it was cool when we listened to it last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So vibes. Do you have anything else? It sounds like it's simple, but you should see my serum. Will like the bass? Oh, sure. Yeah. You know,
Yeah. I'm sure
making
it's
sense is hard,
complex
but
to do. Yeah.
yeah, but like listen to a fucking Skrillex song and like that shit is just like everywhere, and there's like 40 different bass synths or something. Um,
Just one.
not trying to downplay your synth there, but it's just yeah, it's just whum whum whum. Like that's what
It's
it's
cool.
doing, you know.
Yeah.
But okay,
Aspect Sound said, yeah, the standards for bass sound design for genres like this are very high at this point. It's true. The bass, as it is now, is simple but effective, but I think it can do a lot with more processing to make it sound more of your own. Maybe. I mean, I think there's other ways to achieve the feeling that things are more unique with, like, if you added some more variable drum patterns, maybe, like little sort of cool fill type stuff. That the part is kind of simple right now.
yeah,
So I think there's multiple ways to solve the problem of feeling like it could be more unique.
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, and even so, like what I was saying, like I don't think the thing that makes this unique and cool to listen to is the bass net sound by itself necessarily. I think it's more so the drums and how that interacts with it. Like, so yeah, that's why I'm like, you don't have to change too much with the bass sound. Really, like, I'm not like split either way of it. I think it's pretty cool sounding by itself. I just think that the thing that's really interesting to listen to is that percussion. Like I said, that clap sounds really really cool. There's like a nice little reverb tail to it too, and like you do these like little swingy stuff with the drums. It's like not exactly on the grid, and I really like that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of being buried by this bass that isn't as interesting.
Yeah.
So one way to fix that is to be like, hey, get that bass out of the way when the interesting drums come in. One way to do that is with sidechaining. So yeah.
Yeah. I think a little side chaining could help to make it more dynamic feeling without making things a lot more complicated. So
Yes, exactly.
there
Like, the
was
name
more
of the
of
game
that.
here with these edits are subtlety. You're, like, at the
Yeah.
last, you know, uh, I'm not
The
trying to
last
say a
5
score, but
10%.
really, yeah, it's, like, the last part of the process here. Don't go crazy, like a certain somebody does in the chat where they add a whole new vocal to a song that changes it completely.
Let's just
Like,
say sometimes the arrangements are an analog to this person's chat messages.
yes, yes. You could think that they're almost like they're joking with us. Like,
Could
their head
be.
is just full of jokes. But anyways, alright, so all that being said, do you have a vibe score for this?
Hmm. Yeah, I think I do.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's up there. I like it a lot. I honestly like trying to not think about like the differences, the nuances between the original and this one. If I was to
Mhm.
just listen to this, that the drop is so cool. You know,
Yeah.
like I think it's
That's
awesome. There's
yeah. I imagine that my vibe score might be lower than the last one just because I've heard it already. So I've like once I recognize it, like I knew it was coming.
sure.
But objectively it is a cool drop. Yes.
hmm
Um content.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of this. I don't. I think you should not complicate the arrangement too much. It's definitely like been refined and simplified, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
There might be some opportunities to do a couple of cool drum patterns, like not like constantly, but just to add a little bit of flavor where it feels like too uniform. Like it's just kind of like kick, snare, kick, snare,
Yeah.
to change things up every once in a while. And then like parts wise, sound wise, we both really like that clap that you put in there. I think that was different from the original.
I think so.
Um, and I wish that the snare earlier maybe got just a little bit of the flavor of that like dimensionality where it has some stereo width to it and presence, and like honestly the side chaining might help give it some of that where it
Yeah.
feels like the snare is affecting things more than just showing up. Like it's like punching down the mix a little bit around it. That's cool and dynamic. Or
Yeah.
if it maybe you could experiment with
Like a
some sort of
reverse reverb like like it sucks in, before it
maybe something like
hits.
that, or
Yeah.
like layering it in a certain way that gives it almost like a slapback like type delay thing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
there's a lot of different things you might be able to experiment with, and it's
Yeah.
I think you know how to keep things refined, so that's like great.
Yeah.
I don't have any worries about you going like crazy overboard with this stuff, but I
Right.
think there's a little bit more room to have even more fun with it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's really cool already, but it's like this could be awesome.
I agree.
So
I agree with this. Yeah, you could do like, and it doesn't have to be throughout the whole track. It could be just like that one snare hit in like minute 2:30 or something has like this crazy delay tail that the others don't. Like it would just be moments like that where like, okay, this is a solid song, and then like some crazy like something happens, and it's just the same beat again. And it's like that would be like taking it to another level. Like, oh, this guy knows what he's fucking doing. He's just playing with us, and that shit right there was cool. You know.
yeah. And
So
yeah, Dino, he said, I tried some delay. It felt like it was fucking it up. Yeah. Also, like with the whole experimentation thing, we
yeah,
might have ideas that are like based on loosely related examples or just like
yeah,
intuition that might not work in practice, right? It's like that's why we're giving a few different ideas and like
mhm,
trying different things. Maybe it was the wrong kind of delay. Like maybe the tail was too long, or it was the resonant frequency of whatever delay it was just sounded weird or too room like or something.
mhm,
There's like many there might be different implementations of it that work really well or don't work that well. Or again, like maybe a reverse swell thing in a couple of places, not everywhere, probably could be cool at the end of a phrase or whatever. But just a bunch of ideas, or even just having like the snare be more stereo fieldy, like that clap is. Not necessarily to the same extent, but there's options here. So yeah, Jokerhead's caps lock going crazy. All right, let's give content and production scores. Let's try to get through this because I think we've been spending a little bit longer on each
we
one
have yeah,
today. We've had some long tracks, and we have two more that we have to get through. So
yeah.
let's do this shit.
Okay,
We're
yeah. Production. I think we talked about it quite a lot already.
wait, we didn't give content scores though.
Oh, my bad, my bad. I've had content on here for a while.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. You have a score? Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Nice. Ooh, I was almost gonna say the same thing.
yeah, yeah.
I just
Um,
wanted to emphasize. I think this is the main spot that there's a little bit of room for like getting it past that finish line.
yeah, that's true.
And then production, we've talked about. I think it's pretty damn good. I'm glad that it is like more steadily listenable than
Hmm.
before. And I think my main mix feedback, aside from the like sound choice stuff that we talked about just now,
Hmm.
is those sections that are quieter, whatever you want to call them, arrangement wise. I think there's a little bit too much of a difference between the volume there
Mm,
and the drop. Um, it's just like, yeah, it makes the drop more impactful, but it makes things feel a little bit unbalanced and kind of confusing when it goes back to the lower volume. So it doesn't need to be like a brick, but having a little bit more consistency in the volume would probably be a good idea. One good test for this is if you turn your volume down a lot, especially if you're on speakers in a room, that's the best way to do it. Um, you'll notice those volume jumps more if the volume is really quiet already. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I think it just makes it so that if the loud parts are like just barely audible, where things are like intelligible, when it goes to those quiet parts, if you really like are having trouble, you're struggling to make things out, and it feels now like it's really too quiet, it probably is. So that's just a trick to like jog your perspective and kind of assess volume in a way that is more neutral when you've been listening at the same volume for a long time.
mm. Yep, listen to the man. My production tips. I already talked about it. I just from first mix to second. I agree with Josh that it's like more professionally listenable and less harsh. I just feel like the dynamic elements could be brought out more. So I think for me that might be the main thing to edit because and it's kind of content too, right? But the things that we were suggesting were mostly kind of production stuff, like oh, add
Hmm.
a cool delay or sidechain it, to
Yeah,
make it snap more.
it's a blurred line between content production for that stuff, what it falls under, because it's
Sure.
like doing production is not
Yeah, there's
necessarily
like
just
an
mixing and mastering.
engineering aspect to make it like sound professional, which
Yeah,
is kind of production, and then content to where it's like let's put cool effects on it.
yeah.
So yeah, but I'm just letting you know that's what's going into my score here. So
Okay, so it's
um,
gonna be 0. Let's do it.
yeah, yeah. Ready?
Yeah,
3, 2, 1. Red boy.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
what a horribly low score.
yeah. I know, right? Do you know you got to try harder?
Yeah, but no,
Um,
it's cool.
yeah,
All right, track
solid.
total. Um, man, I like this track.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
You got a
I've
score?
got a score. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. There
Yeah.
you go.
It's up there. It's like it's
Solid.
just that last little bit to go before this is like truly awesome. And I think, let me just tell you, like, having the taste, you've got that clearly,
Mhm.
and having the restraint are like and the ability to like self-reflect and take feedback and all that stuff. Like, as long as you have those ingredients, it's just a matter of doing more iterations and reps, and then like you're going to be able to recognize when it is like truly ready and great. And yeah, looking forward to hearing that. We've got a lot of cool stuff from you, so
Yeah.
please send us more. And
Yes.
if you work on this more, it doesn't have to be next week. If you need more time or whatever, feel free to submit it later, but or other stuff that you're working on too. So
I'm just
yeah.
looking at the chat here and my brain's
What's
turning
going
off.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love you, Jokerhead. But
Yeah.
I mean, a solid green rating by itself is hard. But do you mean green like in the 80s here? Because I
He's
don't know. I think
he's gotten a
yeah, I
couple
feel
that
like
have
we've
been up
got.
there.
Yeah, I feel like we have to.
You're making progress, Jokerhead.
You are.
It hasn't been 3 to 4 years. It's been maybe a year and a half or 2.
Yeah.
But
Think about Jokerhead's progress though. It's like 2 steps
it's
forward, 5
non-linear.
steps back. Yeah, it's very non-linear.
And then suddenly
overall,
it's
it's
10 steps
increased.
forward, but we've already gone back like 8 steps. So
Yeah, but then it's like 20 steps forward, but it's a different genre.
yeah,
You
I
know
know.
what I mean?
I know. It's
Yeah.
like, how do you know how to make that?
Yeah, it's like, "Whoa, why don't you, like, stick to that? That's, like, a cool
Yeah.
like, that should be your new bread and butter." But okay.
Yes. All right.
Alright,
Dope.
yeah. So, we'll go through these next 2 because I guess maybe a little bit more expediently because 'cause we've kind of spent more time on these. But
Yeah.
these guys also tipped. So,
True.
thank you very
True.
much for the support. We wanna support you guys back, and, I mean, these tracks are pretty cool to listen to. Jokerhead, I know you're there in the chat. I liked the beat a lot, but the vocals you added were
Whack.
yeah, they were pretty whack. So just take that, and you'll listen to the feedback later. But yeah, I say that with all 3 of these tracks, like they're pretty solid, with the exception of the vocals on the Jokerhead's track, and they were great to listen to. But okay, we'll get to the free queue people here.
Yes. And
They've
thank
been
you,
waiting
Dino.
patiently. Thank you, Dino. Yeah, I don't
You
know
guys
why
are
you
awesome.
said that
You
you
are
were like
awesome.
a trash producer, but that is not true.
No way. Yeah.
We got Maine and we got Max 70. So thank you, Max. I think you've been waiting for a while too, so we'll try to get to you.
Yep.
But let's get to Maine first. Then, Transparent. Your role, songwriter, R&B is the genre. Track artist is Maine, a smooth, laid-back alternative R&B track. You ready?
Let's go. Ready.
All right, Transparent. 3, 2, 1. Send it to my PayPal. I don't know what you talking about. Silky vocals.
We don't see eye to eye. You got a bag that you wildin'. Just don't forget where you came.
Nice.
It's a lot of
I remember.
Moped.
I remember. Remember those days we had a lot. Fuck on niggas, they blow a spot. Keep
I want a
running,
little
don't
bit
look
more
back.
body out of the
Keep
vocals.
running, don't look back on me.
Very high focused.
Fortune 500 feel good, don't it?
Yeah, pretty airy.
Streets don't be in the same. What you heard on the block going crazy. VIP the spot, but your eyes can't see me. I've been moving tails, but you know so
It's so Weekend. That's like old Weekend.
New shame. If I made you understand where I came from, would that change your
There's some
mind?
bass balance issues.
Perspective. I be in my mind
Stereo work with
retrospective.
the beat here.
I'm waiting for the
The
signs.
vocals great. Yeah.
Remember those days we had
Yeah,
a
vocal
lot.
is great, yeah.
Fuck on niggas, they blow a spot. Keep running, don't look back. Keep running, don't look back on me. Fortune 500 feel good, don't it, baby?
Vocals got a lot
Streets
louder
don't
there.
be in the same. What you heard on the block going crazy. Be the spot, your eyes can't see me. I've been moving tails, but you know so quietly. New frame, new shame. I know what you heard on the block going crazy. Be the spot, your eyes can't see me. I've been moving tails, but you know so quietly. New frame, new shame.
harsh. I kind of wish that melody was more apparent in the rest of the song, actually,
Yeah, for
because like I
sure.
feel like that the beat was kind of missing something like that,
Yeah.
just in general.
I
But
think it was missing the bass. I think
oh
that
yeah,
would have made a huge difference for making those choruses sound full and giving it actual contrast between the choruses and the verses.
there was a bass though, wasn't there?
Tales,
A little.
so
There
quiet.
is, there's a little kick, but
You
the
think it's
balance of the mix
okay?
is a little off, I think, overall.
Fair. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just sorry, just listening.
why did Jokerhead say that is sex music, and then he said or pottery music?
I don't know, man. I wish I could. This guy's like a copy pasta machine, so I wish I could pin all of his messages, but or at
Yeah,
least a series of them.
we should have a whole page that's just Jokerhead quotes.
Honestly, let's do it. That's a great Discord channel. I feel like
Yeah,
Discord
for
channel
real.
idea. But all right,
Hashtag Jokerhead quotes.
yeah,
Oh yeah, and we got a question in the chat from Aspect Sound. If I donate, would it move me up in today's queue? But would it knock Max 7.0 out? I'd feel bad if they've been waiting for the whole stream. LOL.
it
You're
would.
correct.
It
That's
would.
correct, and
Yeah,
I think you're correct to feel bad. So
yeah,
it's up to you. I mean, we get to everyone in order. If you want to tip like after we've started reviewing maxes, then you'd
yeah,
be first next week. Or
yeah,
if if you come in next week and nobody else is tipped, you can get in first or second probably. So
yeah. I was gonna say, right now you're last in the queue, but if you tip right now and you say you don't want us to skip Max, we could just put you first for the next stream. Just let us know.
it's up to you, yeah, or you can come
Yeah,
back next week. But
like we can alter the queue, however. So yeah.
I mean, you're not disallowed from tipping and, and skipping
Yeah,
Max,
we
but
want like yeah, please give us your money. Like we love it. But yeah.
but morals.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Vocals
submitting
fantastic.
a
Yeah.
sweet R&B track.
Chris,
But
you have a flat tire. What are you talking about? I do have a flat
tire.
tire. The
What does
bike?
that mean? Oh, really?
Yeah, the bike is definitely there's two flat tires on it for
Damn.
sure. Very observant, Jokerhead. But anyways,
Um, it's a good track. I think the vocalist is
it's
doing
good.
great,
Yeah, Main's fantastic.
and the like arrangement, the sound choices, I think are like basically where they need to be.
Mhm.
I just think subtle changes, like with the percussion, I think, and the overall mix balance would make a world of difference here. Like,
Yeah, you want to talk about the percussion? What do you mean?
um, yeah, I think it ties in with the mix. It's sort of like you
The
have to
bass, yeah.
experiment. If you fix the mix balance, how does it sound then? And my hypothesis is that it might still be a little bit. It needs something. Like there's just some extra element that feels like it's missing.
Mhm.
It feels a little bit blob like, sort of
That's
moving
what
through the
yeah,
whole thing.
Blob
Like
is exactly I had a similar feel with the last track we listened to. There's not a lot of dynamic range. It's
I,
just kind of a wall of sound.
I don't think I would say dynamic range because there is
Like
dynamic range here,
transients.
but I don't think that's the case. I don't think dynamic range is the right terminology to use. I think it's like there's not enough bass here for sure. There's not enough oomph in the kick.
Yeah.
There's not enough contrast between sections in terms of feel, I think,
Mhm.
because the bass and the percussion elements don't feel like they're well defined or really driving things,
Yes.
especially in the chorus. It's all just driven by like the vocals and maybe some of the chordal harmonic stuff that's going on that's also kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the clearest main thing is definitely the vocals for
yeah.
sure.
Well, yeah, the vocals, like again, delivery is great. That's like the biggest thing. If you've got that, like you've got the bag is in your hand, or whatever the terminology is, like
Yeah.
that's great.
Don't fumble it. Yeah.
Don't fumble it. Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I think the mixing is part of it, and then also that vocal is very airy, as you said.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that high end sheen that you do want for like an R&B production or like a modern pop production, but it's like all of that. Like the
Well,
vocal is like mostly the airy component,
yeah.
and like I'm definitely feeling that divide between like it's almost separating out the airiness from the body of the vocal because it's so extreme.
Well, that
So
and the track itself is kind of low passed. Like the instrumental. It seems like there's no upper airiness
it's
at all.
neither bright nor does it have a lot of low end either.
Yeah,
It's like
no, it's just a blob, like you said. It's a bunch of mid frequency blob.
yeah, a little
Unfortunately.
bit.
It almost like because when I was listening to this, it seems like the vocal was just kind of sitting on top of the mix, like, and the mix
Mhm.
itself, I couldn't really pick out anything that was happening
Yeah.
by itself, So yeah, the vocals was definitely like the highlight here, and they have background vocals and harmonies and stuff that sounded really cool, but it just seemed distinctively clearer, like which could be like the high frequency comp that you're talking about, like more crisp than the track itself did, the instrumental. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I'd
big
agree.
contrast. It sounded like almost separate. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, a lot of talent for sure, and I've heard
Yeah.
that with every single main track that he's submitted to us. Very weekendy too.
He's the songwriter. That was the only role he filled out. Do you think he's
Preach.
a vocalist? Do you think?
I'm pretty sure he's the vocalist because every time he submitted it, it's the same vocalist that sounds like The Weeknd every
That's
time.
impressive. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, all this being said, I guess we're trying to be brief, but do you have
Yeah.
a score for Vibes?
Yeah, let me think about this for a sec. Do, do, do. Oh man.
Yeah,
I
my
think I
score.
do. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, shoot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking
I feel
somewhere in
that.
that
I was
range.
being
I mean,
generous. I was being generous.
yeah, I couldn't go down to 69 though.
Yeah, it's not a 69. No
It's
way.
not.
Yeah.
Okay. Content, I mean, I think just more like the mix will help a lot with making the arrangement feel more set. But
Mhm.
right now it just doesn't feel like there's again enough contrast between the verse and the chorus. It's like it gets a little bit louder, it changes a little bit between them, but it doesn't feel like there's a big energy difference.
Yeah.
It's still kind of this blob just moving through. So
Yeah.
debatable whether that's content or production or both. I think what I was saying earlier with percussion is like if you had like a brushed snare or something in some parts and then it like goes away, like that's a good way to create contrast where it's kind of constant throughout and feeds this sort of warm vibe that you're creating, this like warm R&B thing.
Mhm.
But then when you take it away, either for you could do it either way, I think, for the verse or for the chorus and vice versa, you can create a very different feel to things and a very different like atmosphere to carry
Yeah.
that section and sort of divide them.
I think also another element that could be used, and quite frankly, might be underutilized, is that piano.
Mm,
Like recording itself is kind of iffy.
yeah, I
Like it
agree.
sounds like it's from like a hallway with an old phone or something. But it's a cool melody, and I think it's something you could put in the background of the beat that'll allow the beat to have some high frequency content that kind of matches the vocal. But you could just push it off to the side so that it doesn't get in the way of the vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now the beat itself just kind of sounds like blobby, and
Hmm.
we don't want that to happen. Blobular. But all that being said, I have a score for content. Do you?
Yes, I do.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Yep.
mine's a little higher than Vibes too, just because I think that like the vocalist being great and the overall like song
Oh
structure
yeah,
is
with
awesome.
the vocalist, actually, I'll pump it up a little bit.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll
Um.
go up a teeny bit too.
Yeah. For me, the biggest problem is production. I think.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it drags down an awesome like song recording otherwise, and I guess Chris's Xfinity just shit the bed. So let's see. Maybe he'll put his scores up, but probably not. He's probably gonna rejoin in a second here. Um, let's see. Let's read the chat. Chokerhead said, "Chris, your table's on its side. It's making me dizzy." Yes, Chris's table is on its side, and maybe that's why his internet went out. The wires. Yeah.
Remember the vocals at all? It sounds like a different beat entirely. You can't really
Hmm.
make out anything. Um, I think it could use a little bit a little bit more like emphasis of the transients.
Yeah.
I was saying dynamic range, like it just kind of sounds like a big blob right now. So
Yeah.
um, that's kind of my production. Do you have anything do you want to add besides
Nope.
what you've said in the past? Okay, score 3. You have your score?
Sure do.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, I mean, I don't know. My rationale is just halfway between develop and good to go. There's a lot of development I think that needs to happen to make it really service the song. I was originally a little bit higher, but
Yeah, I'll
you
put it
know,
at 60. Yeah, because
yeah,
the vocal production sounds pretty decent. Even then, though, it's a little airy. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Track total.
Track total. I like the track, but it has some room to grow.
Same.
Hmm.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 69. You think it's there?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I
Feels
just think
right.
the mix brings it down a little bit. It's not bad, right? It's like most of the way to good to go, but
Yeah.
there's like certainly a good percentage of development to make it really pop, I think.
Yeah.
And we're pretty close on that.
Jesus, don't do that, Chris. Don't do what? 84? He gave it 84. All right.
Good.
You're generous, Jokerhead.
Very.
It's within our range, too. It's like pretty close.
Yeah. 83.
But okay.
He's going down.
Oh. All right. I don't know if that one guy who was going to tip a cent, if he's doing it or
I
not,
think
but
he chose the high road
I think he did. Well,
aspect. It was.
it's a morally. It's not. There's no moral or anything. It's just, hey,
Yeah.
man, it is what it is.
That's capitalism, baby.
Yeah, it is. We love it here.
But in this case, no, it's socialism. So we've
Yeah.
got Max 70.
Shout out Max for waiting. Appreciate you, man.
Yes.
I think this is the second stream we had to push you back. So here you are, and
Mhm.
it's paying off. So it's I don't want you anymore. Artist is the role. Very descriptive.
Wait, why is the
What'd you
album
do?
art is that Victorious?
Yeah, it's Ariana Grande
I
in the
just
back, and
realized
then I
that.
forget. It's like the emo chick. Yeah, and it was the same
Jade?
one.
Was that the name?
Jade. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same one that he submitted with the other track. So I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He just likes that picture, I guess. Track genre is experimental. Track artist is Max 70. What'd you do on the track, man? Did you make the beat? Did you do the vocals? What's up? Let us know. But you ready? I don't want you anymore.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Jaden Cat. Okay.
A little disorienting, but cool.
A little bit, yeah. This is a type beat.
The bass is very dry. Some high frequencies there that are
Yeah, the vocals a little gritty. Very sharp.
the vocals and the hi-hat
You don't love me, oh no.
turn it down a lot.
I said no. I gotta count my breath, yeah, then I count some more. Pull up, bitch, I gotta go. Fuck what you say, I gotta go get mine. Fuck what you meant, bitch, I'm on my own. The fuck do you want? I don't know. Bitch, I'm wrong. Damn, yo, bitch, call my phone. I get it, I was so wrong. Damn, rock with she got long. But let's see if you and I'm wrong. Yo, bitch, said she on my song. Yeah, please don't hit my phone. I know she really wrong.
I can barely hear what he's saying. Yeah. I can barely make out what he's
Wait,
saying.
what the fuck just happened? Oh. That's me.
A lot of tracks do this kind of stuff.
I like this part better.
But yeah, the fade was interesting.
Fade was a little abrupt.
Yeah. All right.
Even that fade out was a little abrupt. Yeah.
That was
okay.
so zoomer. That was so zoomer.
So zoomer, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Max 70. Very like I don't even know what to. It's like open mouth delivery. It was like.
There was this thing. I don't know if it was. Let us know, Max. Was this double tracked, or like were there like vocal doubles that were happening, or did you just have some sort of like reverb delay thing on it? Because, well, one, I found a lot of those stutter cuts to be like.
They
Was that a
tripped on each other.
mistake? Yeah, they were like super tripping on each other,
Yeah.
just like unnecessarily. Like that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, they're
And then
overlapping on each other. They should be like cut before the next
yeah,
one
that's
starts. You know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah,
If you want to get that stutter effect.
in terms of executing that right, yeah, they shouldn't be right up against each other probably.
Mhm.
But then there's like this delay thing going on. No, that stutter card is kind of part of it, and there's different layers. Well, yeah, I see. I mean, we see that it's part of it. It's not to say you shouldn't have it there, but just the way it's executed could probably be a little bit more the way that it would sound better, probably having a teeny bit of space between them.
Yeah.
Um,
The whole point about the stutter, right, is to be like a glitch kind of thing,
yeah,
right? So
Not
I
just
feel
like
like it should
copy
be
pasted bits. Like
yeah, it should be choppy. They shouldn't run into each other really. But what you have now is like they're like running all over each other in like a smooth way. Like they have a very long tail, so it doesn't sound, I guess, natural for a weird thing like a glitch. Like it doesn't sound like a glitch would sound. It sounds like I tried to make a glitch, but I did it wrong. Like that's and that's what we're giving the feedback in that manner. Like that's what it sounds like. It sounds
fucking
like a mistake.
Jokerhead said, "Did this singer have braces?"
I can, yeah,
Oh my god.
I honestly hear that because like the way that like it's all related. Like the delivery, literally, I can't really make out a lot of what they're saying. The content by itself, it just seems like a heartbroken guy who doesn't want this girl who keeps hitting up his
Well, he
phone.
has braces, so there's that too.
Does he have braces? Yeah, maybe it's all adding up here. Maybe she doesn't like braces. It's kind of instead of the glitch, it's more like they go into each other. That's an artistic move that you tried. It I think it kind of failed. I think it would be
Yeah.
better the other way.
It's
Like there's
one
a reason.
thing
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one thing
Like
to say you have, like, a reason or a justification on paper, but,
yeah.
like,
Or
that's
like your
so
vision. Yeah.
sure. Maybe like, look, it's very hard to
Oh, you
say
get
that
feedback though.
if you had an idea in your head at the beginning, and then you worked on something a lot to try to get it to sound like that,
Mhm.
and the reality is that your perspective tends to wane the longer that you work on something and listen to it. You
Yeah.
may very well be justifying that it is the way that you envisioned it, or that
Mhm.
it's the best it could be, when it's kind of a matter of like sunk cost fallacy, if you've heard of
Yeah.
that, which is just like you put resources, time, or money, or whatever it is, effort into something, you're gonna feel like I can't throw that out because it's my baby and I spent time on it.
What's up,
Whereas
Hodius?
with like music and creating stuff and writing and like any creative endeavor, you have to be really good at throwing your own stuff out or just like reworking your own stuff, and also recognizing that like you have to just be super aware of your own perspective on things, whether it's like do you have blockers or like biases, like even just your speakers like we've talked about, or just like if you see things differently than everyone else with like does this sound good or not, right? It's going to be just hard to like get any like audience if you have some decision that like almost everyone thinks is odd or doesn't sound good or could sound better, and
Yeah.
you just want to justify it because it was the original like idea on paper. So it's kind of a matter of stepping back, like stepping away from your projects for a bit, getting feedback from other people like this, and then listening and being super honest with yourself and critical and saying, does this actually sound like good? Like
Yeah.
if this wasn't my track, would I think that that sounds good, or does it get old after being repeated a lot? And like just zooming out is the whole game there.
Mhm.
Um,
Joker has a lot of artistic questions for him, but yeah, I agree. It could be all of that. Like it could be like sunk cost fallacy or whatever. But
maybe a little.
it could also be like your original vision was just like when you panned it out, it's not that good.
It maybe
Like
it's yeah,
that's fine.
you
Like
might
that
have a
happens.
vision in your head and you try it and then it doesn't work in real
Yeah.
life, and you're like, "Okay, I can experiment here and try something," and then you find like, "Oh, fuck, that's way cooler.
Yeah.
This thing that I just discovered that I didn't have a vision of necessarily." So,
Hmm. Hmm.
don't feel like super bound, I think, to your original vision also, because usually, I'd say most successful like artists and creators would say that you discover a lot more in creating than you do in your head in the initial like vision. Um, that goes for everything basically.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
The idea of like the visionary who just like has these grand visions and then goes and effortlessly creates things on the first try
Hmm.
is like not real. It goes
No.
for like music, it goes for writing, it goes for like like videography, it goes for tech too. Like Steve Jobs didn't just like wake up and have the idea of the iPhone and then go and like just do it. There were like so many challenges and things that went wrong, and it wasn't the way that it was originally envisioned, and it took a long time to do it. So
Yeah.
um, your favorite artists work the same way. It's lots of revisions, getting
Yep.
in the process to help them, not doing it alone. So
Yep. Yep. It's the
yeah,
vision. It's the iteration, and within that iteration cycle, it's getting feedback from all perspectives. And you're doing the right thing by coming here.
yeah,
Um, and letting us kind of weigh in. You need this, man. You need this harsh critic. Get high off of it. It's better than milk. All right. Well, interesting.
better than milk.
Um,
I love.
yeah, I guess milk is okay, I guess. But what else do we say? Yeah, I think I was trying to find what he did on the track. I think he said he did the vocals and mix. My boy made the beat. I thought the beat was pretty fire actually. It reminded me kind of like Plug and B-ish. It's a little kind of little Uzi Vert, but more chill. Trying to think of more Plug and B artists, but yeah, I can't think of any right now. Kind of hyper popish with, especially with the kind of attempt at stutter vocals. Um, like content as well, kind of bratty, kind of bitch, don't hit my phone anymore. I'm done. Like, but kind of sad boy at the same time. It's like interesting, or maybe not interesting. It's kind of vanilla for this brand, I would say. Um, and I don't know, I kind of ding that a little bit in content because it's like I've kind of heard all this before. I mean, I've been there before as well, so I have a little bit of sympathy towards it. But it's like, don't hit my phone. Like, what? Don't I don't want you anymore. It's like I've heard this so many times. Like, what makes you unique? Where's the cool, like, wacky punch bars or the wacky production or the wacky vocal guy? And I guess in a sense you kind of do, in the sense that it sounds like you have braces or that you rapped with your mouth open the whole time and I can't really understand what you're saying. Um it sounds like your voice is pretty decent too. So there's like a lot to like here. But the way you mix the vocals, it was very a lot of it's very sharp, not in the sense of pitch, but in the sense of like the frequency, the timbre. A lot of high frequency
Yeah.
content that made your vocal literally sounded like a knife cutting, like it was that sharp, and it was there for the whole time. It sounded much different than like the beat does. The beat kind of sounds soft and like starry and stuff, where yours sounds like it's just like a razor blade. It's very rough. Um, yeah, it's very crisp. It's a
Yeah.
weird. It's too crisp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I was gonna
So.
say I think my my like high level main feedback for this, the two things that stand out the most is one that just the vocal and I think maybe the hi hats too are contributing to just like way too much high end build up. I had
Mhm.
to turn down a lot. This is honestly the only track today that I actually had to turn down for because it was so piercing in that high end. So that's it's a common mistake. I'm not really sure why. If, I don't know, like if it's just listening systems or people's rooms, whatever, or just like getting excited, like putting on too much high frequency to make things brighter. But that's thing one. Thing two is just a lot of the sounds honestly sound like really stock and
Mm.
just kind of dry. Um,
That's kind
like
of the plug and B sound. I'll say that.
really,
But continue. Yeah, continue.
it just,
It's good
I mean,
feedback.
I don't know. Like, what is plug and be even? Is it a genre?
Yeah, I think there's a guy named DJ Plug who like did R&B, but used like
I
really
see.
kind of stocky kind of
What
sounds.
when did he make his stuff? Is this like recent or a long time ago?
I mean the wave of plug and B being in popularity is like pretty recent, like
Okay.
within a year, something like that.
I don't know. I'm always skeptical of when there are these like small subgenres that sort of it may have like a couple of artists in them that are popular for some reason,
Mhm.
but it might not mean that everything that is their style is like justifiable for a broader audience. Like, oh, there's this guy on SoundCloud who got big, but his mixes sound like ass. Like, you probably shouldn't just justify them based on like I'm in that guy's genre. I'm allowed to have my mixes not be good.
Mhm.
It's like maybe if you're super lucky, you'll find the exact same, probably not gigantic audience that
Yeah.
that specific artist found. Unlikely though, because they probably have some special sauce that isn't about the thing that we're saying is not working. It's probably like them, like
Yeah.
something about their artistry that's making it work.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, like Joker has here. It's like they're singing about money underwater. Honestly, that would be. So get Josh's reaction there, right? That would be more interesting of a song because like that'd be like, oh, what is this guy talking about? Like, this is cool. One, I can understand him, so I know what he's talking about, and
yeah.
two, it's not like an overplayed kind of cliche.
I
Which I
also
feel like
think
that's what this is.
I also think though that it's to like the average listener, like it's cool if there are genres that people haven't heard of and they discover and like,
Mhm.
have reasons to like. But if you're in this, I feel like this is uncanny valley a little bit where
Mhm.
like not knowing that plug and B is a genre,
Yeah,
I might come in here and think that this is similar enough to like other stuff, like just regular shit that I've heard, but
yeah,
not as good, and
yeah,
not know that it's like an interesting style. Like if you
yeah,
really want to make it whatever that specific sound is, you
yeah.
probably have to go like further into that territory to make it obvious.
Mhm.
not this uncanny valley thing where it's like, well, it's like a regular mix, but it's
Mhm.
slightly more stock sounding, which gives me some reminiscence of this genre that I've previously liked something in. Like
Yeah.
it's in no man's land. It's in the middle. You got to like have a defined sound that
Mhm.
isn't like, oh, some elements are plug and B-ish, but some are just normal and the vocals way too bright and like
Yeah.
if things are all over the place, you don't have a really solid vision. Not
Mhm.
to say that vision is all that it is, but like a really solid image that you're presenting that's cohesive.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a tough time like getting fans from that genre or people who don't know that genre. Like
Yeah.
neither's gonna love it, basically.
Yeah, if you he has can you not really not understand what I'm saying in the mix? Is the mix on the vocals that bad for real? Um, it's not just the mix. I'm not trying to like roast you, but it's the delivery I think which is mostly the problem. The mix itself we talked about when we said it's too sharp and like too crisp and like a lot of high frequency content. That's more making it like literally like kind of hurt to listen to, not being like a
Yeah.
jerk. Um, like it just there's too much high frequency content. Like it's like what happens when a screech or you're
It's
like
just harsh, yeah.
yeah, it's just harsh. I don't think that's contributing to the lack of clarity on the vocals. There is the thing where we talked about the stutters getting in front of each other. That I would say is affecting like clarity kind of, but that's a stutter. It doesn't really matter. The most thing that is affecting your what is intelligibility is your delivery. Like it literally like to make consonant sounds and to make words come out of your mouth, you have to like open and close your mouth. And like I'm a vocalist, and I could just imagine the way that you were singing it. It was like,
Mm.
I'm a seventh, I felt like you barely closed your mouth. Like that's why I said like this guy like sang with his mouth open the whole time, and it like it felt like you were having a very warm breath delivery, like and it kind of going for that kind of silky smooth, like sure that's fine, but you gotta close your mouth to make out the words. And that's why Joker had said, "Does this guy have braces?" Because people with braces have a hard time closing their mouths, right? So yeah. Um, well, this is plugin B. I'll have to see what that is in context. But anyways, Max looks like he's confused by Joker, which welcome to the club. We
Yeah.
also get confused too, so don't worry. But yeah, um, in terms of intelligibility, that's what I'm talking about.
Joker said, "I am literally insane."
Literally, yeah, he's literally insane.
That's the
Um,
persona.
he has some of the best kind of one-liners, though, I gotta say. But anyways, but
Let's
yeah, we
give our
kind of went
vibes
went in depth
score.
here, but
Yeah.
yeah, vibes. Where do I put this? Let's see. Okay, do you have a score?
Yeah.
All right, I do. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, is that or yeah? Okay, yeah,
Between yellow and green, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, there's elements of this that are good. Like the I think the overall structure is okay.
Mhm. Yeah, the
um,
structure is well, yeah, there's some
but
interesting, like, weird fade at the end
yeah,
there, and
I was gonna say that's what I was thinking of too.
like,
But
the you did a it was a pretty liberal use of the pitch slider in the beginning there, the little warp thing.
yes,
Yeah.
honestly, what happened I think for me is
It's almost too much. It's kind of uncanny valley, like you said. It was like, I know
maybe,
that happens, like, a lot of
yeah,
songs
yeah,
nowadays, especially Zoomer music, it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do, like, a switch up where it's a lower pitch," or I'm
yeah.
gonna, like from the beginning, I'll wheel up the pitch to do it, but this guy was like, slow down, and then do it
It's
again."
cool until like
It's overplayed.
it's
Yeah,
just like too many swirls on the merry-go-round. It's like
yeah,
it's fun when you do it a few times, but if you go too far, it's nauseating.
yeah,
And like towards the end of that, I was like, okay, at first I was like, this is so cool. Like this is gonna be like an awesome like
yeah,
uh you know R&B track or not R&B, but like a cool track.
yeah,
And then I was disappointed when it went into the rest because I feel like it became less cohesive after that too.
mhm,
And that's when I was hearing like this stock ass like bass sound that was just like ending like with a like quarter measure before the next part, and it was
yeah,
just like why it
uh-huh.
wasn't consistent. Like um I don't know, maybe that's plug and B, whatever like, sorry, I don't
Plug
know
and
that
B sounds
genre.
pretty stock, yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I don't know, I think you can make music that sounds good with stock plugins. It's like a matter of taste and like in the right configuration.
Yeah. Often to make something super great too with very simple components requires even more mastery.
Yes, and choosing the right things very wisely.
Yeah.
Like if one part doesn't sound good and it's fully exposed because it's like a sparse, simplified mix, it's going
Yeah.
to be a
It's like
problem.
amplified. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Let's move on to content, which I think we were sort of talking about, like with the sounds, with some of those arrangement points. I think that fade towards the end was just like way too abrupt. It's just a matter of the execution. I think you can do the same
Yeah.
arrangement thing that you're trying to do, but
Yeah.
just like experiment with making those fades feel more natural,
Yeah.
with the way that they decay and the length of them, pretty much.
Mhm. Yeah. Almost I feel like barely I feel like whenever there's like volume automation like that within like a track, I feel like fades aren't really ever used, at least very uncommonly used in the middle of a track.
Hmm.
They're usually like a fade in or a fade out. But if you like fade out in the middle of your track and then fade back in and then do like a pitch swirl thing, it's like, what is going on? This is like a DJ who doesn't know what he's doing and he's just like
Yeah.
fucking around with the knobs,
Yeah.
you know?
It really, the way that you execute these things, it's not just about the idea of like, this is the arrangement, what I'm going to do.
It's gotta be purposeful.
It's artistry. It's like, it's a craft, right?
Yeah.
If you're just like, you're like, I'm gonna carve some letters into this wood thing that I'm making, my woodworking craft. But
Mhm,
there's like all the letters are different sizes and the spacing's all fucked up. It's gonna look like shit, right? But
mhm.
like if
A
you're trying to,
ransom note.
you could be trying to carve the exact same letters in, and if you're just paying attention to the proportions and the like subtle details, it's gonna be great. So it's about like you might have the right idea, the right vision, like you said earlier, but it's just like really honing in and being brutally honest with yourself about the execution and how good it is.
Well, it almost felt like, oh, this is a cool effect. Like, I'm gonna do this swirly thing. Let's just put it in, and then not really think about how it sounds in the overall picture. Or like, oh, let's do chops because everybody does chops, but like executing it
Yeah,
the wrong
that's
way. You
exactly
know?
it. And it's, look, this is the first step, is like trying all this stuff and then
Yeah.
realizing, oh, my first attempt wasn't the way that it must be done usually
Mhm.
because it doesn't sound quite like the other stuff.
Yep.
And also being able to hear that, like checking and being like, no, that's in the same realm. It's all good. Versus like, doesn't sound quite as cool as like the one that I was trying to emulate or whatever.
Hmm.
Figure out how to make it cooler. Like experiment. You got to try things. It's never going to be right on the first try, I think is what we're getting at.
Yep.
With that fade thing, of like practical tip, you could try doing a crossfade so that there's not a like this. It doesn't go to zero and there's empty space, and then it starts up again. That might be fine, but just like again, experiment with the length of the fade. A longer fade that has a little bit of a gap between the parts might be fine. It's just that it was like abrupt fade gap, then the thing comes in awkward.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just a little bit of awkwardness there. I'd say.
Hmm.
Content, do we want to give scores?
You can also ask, like, do I even need the fucking fade? Like,
Yeah, sure.
but okay. Yeah, content. We can give scores. I'll also put like the delivery of the vocals here. I think you have a good sounding voice. I think you should just like close your mouth and try to articulate a little bit more. You know. But
Hmm.
okay, 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the same area. It's like, does it really matter if it's like
Yeah.
2 points less or more? But yeah,
No. Yeah. I think you guys both have promise. Like
yeah,
as
for
like
sure.
artists, and like you have a good voice, and the guy can make a good beat. So it's just like execution to the next level,
Yeah, yeah,
and
definitely.
which I think you guys are ready for. So production. What do you have to say?
Um,
Besides, have we said much about production? Besides it sounding stock, we said a lot about vocal production for sure.
yeah, the harshness.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing for me.
yeah. If we take the kind of weird, like, so there's the weird kind of like pitch bending and stuff, and the fade. I almost we talked about it before. It's like a fine line between content and production. Where I'll say production is kind of like the engineering of the track itself, where the content, if there's effects like that where it seems more artistic, I'll put it in content. That all being said, with the caveat of the vocal production being very harsh, uh, I think the beat production itself sounds like pretty decent actually. It seems like pretty well balanced. No really frequencies clashing or anything. Sounds solid. Maybe it's a little stock for Josh's taste, but plug and beats like it sounds kind of similar. I didn't find any too big problems with it to be honest. Um, The vocal production itself, though, is definitely harsh, and that's the main thing we're listening to. And yeah, Josh had to turn down like several levels.
Yeah, I
So
was
we
like,
don't
fuck.
ever want that to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty big point docker here, but
It's
okay.
again, it's like if somebody is probably more likely to just skip the track than to find their volume knob and turn down. So
Yep.
just how it works.
You ready? You have a score?
Do production. Yeah, sure.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same realm.
Yeah. I put the beat there. I think was pretty good, but okay. Track total. This puts me. I think this is fair. You have something?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I think the averages are pretty self-explanatory here, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean it's like I think there's some promising stuff here. It takes a lot to get to this level from zero, so it's like you've made a lot of progress on that front, and we've heard stuff from you before also.
Mhm.
But it's just a matter of like the details, right?
Have you heard from Max? I don't know if I've heard from Max before.
Yeah, I thought we got a submission last
They
week.
submitted last time, but we didn't get to them, so they replaced the track.
Oh, right. Okay. So maybe not. I can't remember.
Yeah. Maybe a new person. Let us know, Max. But yeah. Yeah, we appreciate the submission though, and like I said, I think you guys are talented. Just there's execution. It's like the next level.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys have good equipment. Sounds like you know have a good ear for music in general. Just yeah, it's time to look at attention to details.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what's hip and trendy too. Like I could hear it. So yeah. But anyways, okay,
On
that's
the
our
way.
show in fucking 30 minutes over, guys. You're welcome. This is my first submission. Thought so. Yeah. Good job.
Sweet.
Yeah, and we love to hear more music, man. Appreciate you sticking around for so long too. So we
Yeah.
got to you.
Yeah, hopefully it's useful. I mean, to reiterate, recap, I mean, the whole thing that we're trying to do is like help you guys make the best music you can. It's really hard to actually get a fan base and get listeners, as you probably know, because like making music is so accessible these days. There's so much of it out there. And we kind of are the opinion, I guess our two kind of core beliefs maybe are one, getting like outside perspective is extremely useful on your music, because perspective itself is kind of a resource that is like almost finite. It regenerates, so if you like walk away from a project for a while, you regain it and you come back and you're like, holy fuck, how didn't I see that? That's wrong, and then you can improve that way. But if you want to speed up the process, I guess FastTrack ties into that. Then getting feedback from people like us that have an ear for it, or like have the ability to give some guidance is super useful. But
Yeah.
also maybe the second belief is like you can't do everything to the level that it might need to be done to like be the best track it can be. So you shouldn't try to like tackle everything on your own. Building your team over time is super important. Finding people that you resonate with that can like fill in for your weaknesses, and you can provide your strengths to their strengths. So ultimately, with FastTrack, the platform that we're building, link is in the chat there. We're building tools and a platform to help you do that. So building your team, finding collaborators, people, service providers you can hire for services and feedback related to the entire music release process, helping you visualize that music release process start to end, keeping track of tasks, keeping track of versions of tracks as you work on them, and just like managing all of your stuff in one place so that you have a good view and a good support system around making music releases. So that's what we're doing. If you've submitted a track and you've selected the little sign up thing, which it looks like most of you have, everyone today actually is a signed up user, which is sweet. Might be
We
one of
like
the
that.
first streams like that. Yeah.
Be like y'all.
So yeah, feel free. You all can go into your profile. If you just click on your image, top right of the screen, go to your dashboard. You can go to settings and fill out all of your profile info and see your public facing profile. And you can share that around if you want to as a little business card. The one like experimental feature we're really that's on the profile right now is called track record, which is like your music resume. So you can put like projects you've worked on in that, like if you've had any education in music or jobs as like a mixing engineer, or just how long you've been doing your various roles. You can add
Dude.
them to that list and share that with people. They'll be able to see exactly what your experience is if you want to collaborate with them, that kind of thing.
Dude, we should probably fill our own out because I mean, we
Yeah,
both
yeah.
have a lot of experience. Like you have
Yeah.
actual schooling, like,
Yeah, for sure.
so
We'll fill those out as an example. We'll let you guys know when we've got those. And but feel free to fill yours out. You can upstage us. So yeah,
for
should be
real.
cool. Got anything else?
I laughed at Jokerhead's wish keyboard and wish brain. That
Boy.
was pretty funny. But we got a lot of one-liners from Jokerhead. The braces comment was pretty funny. What's not to like? Good stream. Thanks, guys. Thank you. We had 3 tips today. Fantastic. With a 4th one potentially that guy wanted to do, but
Yeah.
he was moral, I guess.
Well, I don't know why Joker had
Charitable.
said my voice is like Celine Dion, but I don't know what that means.
He
I'll
wants
take
to
it though.
collab with you. Yeah.
I see how it is. Yeah.
He's been asking you to sing on his tracks for a long
He's
time.
been asking me to master his tracks.
That's true too.
Like I'm not a mastering engineer.
That's true too. Yeah.
But you'll be able to find that soon enough on FastTrack. So
Yes, for sure.
that's the idea. Follow us on Twitch somewhere so you get notified when we go live. That's every Friday usually from 5:30 to 7:30 Central. Instagram FastTrack_music. We've got some top tier track posts that should be coming there soon.
Fire.
Discord, that's in the chat. We've got people joining pretty much every week there, so feel free to start up some rowdy discussions.
Make a Jokerhead one-liner channel.
Yeah,
we'll add some
definitely.
or Jokerhead copy pasta.
Yeah, and as always, looking forward to getting more submissions and hearing what you guys are working on and helping you make music. So thanks for joining. Thanks for submitting your tracks, putting yourselves out there, and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, y'all. Peace.
Later. Alligators.
I was trying to go more Ace Ventura, but yeah.
Wow, it's being really slow again, isn't it?
Oh, really?
We are live on air.
It was a little laggy.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah, the score.